recap. Who wants to recap? Josh, you have notes.
I have notes.
So he recapped last time.
Note master.
No, but he has notes.
You can recap if you want, Kylie.
You recap, and then we'll talk about the notes and how those disagree.
It's more fun when we randomly choose somebody to recap rather than just the same person every time.
2, 4, 7.
Randomly choose.
I mean 6. I can't count.
You're doing it.
Cool.
I rolled a 2, and I go to my left.
Alright,
Recap it.
I've done that once pretty good.
And if you say anything wrong, I got notes.
But he can't even read, so it's kind of great.
Oh goodness, so was it you and Nakia and Brandon decided to jump into the water. And
Well,
then,
first it was Nakia.
oh yeah, no. You dragged Brandon with you, and then he got scared and freaked out and climbed back up. And then you guys all went down below, and it was just Burl and Warren and Brandon up the top for a bit, and then Burl got bored, and she's like, no, I'm not hanging around, they're probably dead, and I'm gonna go off and explore this town. So she did. Warren was like, no, don't split the party, and she's like, you're not my dad. Wandered off, and then Warren was being stubborn. He's like, well, I'm gonna stay here, and then Brad's like, oh, I got the shakes. He's like, I gotta go down.
I got the shakes,
but I don't want to go down. And then eventually he decided to go down, and then joined up eventually with Q and Nakia. And Burl went off to the creepy town, leaving Warren all by himself with his little friend who hung around. And Burl went and made a friend, and then Warren got creeped out by the fog, and he's like, nope, I'm getting out of here, and I'm not going in the water, so I guess I'm gonna go find Burl. And now he's like wandering this town with all these creepy, shaky, jittery.
Interesting choice of words.
Sounds like that wasn't in my notes.
That was not intended. Shaky, jittery, shadow monster things that creeps the heck out of him.
Say that 10 times fast.
I have a tongue twister that's vocal training that is just that one. It's great.
I know one that's so bad.
I slit.
Nope. No, that one's so good.
Upon the slitted sheet, I sit. And you say that 10 times fast, and you're just going to say one word over and over again. It's great.
Mine is Mother Pheasant Plucker.
That's terrible. Oh no.
I pluck many mother pheasants. I am the best mother pheasant plucker that ever plucked a mother pheasant. I plucked mother pheasants and baby pheasants indiscriminately.
Oh no.
Oh, I found it.
That one you
This
have
is
to
what drama
think
kids are
about.
up to. If you want to know what drama class is that.
Oh boy.
And just in addition,
That's what it is.
that Warren and Ku are actually in 2 different versions of town, apparently. And you guys, what were you guys up to?
I'm Burl. She is Q.
And I will never stop making that mistake. Feel free to
Burl's the
correct me
new
every
Q,
time.
really. I mean, Q is
You make
without
that
his
She's
story
the
now.
roof.
And now she's like
She's like the
angry
demon.
and running off into the town.
Yeah, Nakia and Ku just went down
Okay, have you seen the
well,
theater? That's the game.
and
Well, we were there for that.
I've seen it.
Okay. Oh wait, you know the intro? The intro is like my favorite thing in the world.
and then we
Yes, I don't remember it.
went even deeper
What?
and
I
continued
don't
to go
remember the
deeper.
intro. Maybe I didn't watch the intro. Maybe
Yeah,
I just
most of
watched
it.
the other stuff.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah, what's the name?
It was probably towards the end there where I just kind of was like,
Yes.
But
You got a
yeah,
friend.
I got a friend.
Warren is
Make sure they're
crazy. Going crazy. The other 3 of us ran into mirrors and wheels. That wheel mirror thingy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know that whole hall of mirrors?
Yeah.
And
The
there's
creepy
a room in
one.
the mirror with like the moving statue wheel thing.
Oh,
The
right.
grand celestial calendar
I think
thing.
that's where we left off, wasn't it? We went down
We
with the
solved the
path.
puzzle, we went down one of the paths, and then there was someone staring at us, and
Oh yeah, because I saw
that's
it.
where we left off.
I was like, meh.
You're just being watched.
And so that's where we left off. Burl is wandering these catacomb things with a little friend,
Yep.
which is a
influence.
little friend. And Burl confided in it, and it was caressed, apparently. What's in there?
Commuzzled or something? Commiseration.
Commezzled.
No, it says Burl confides and is caressed. It must have used that word because I wouldn't have just written it.
Yeah, it did though a little bit, and it kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was a joke because
And I
you tried to
have,
comfort it and it comforted you instead.
it
Or something like that.
It shook and jittered in commiseration or something like that.
I'll be honest. I was
Distinctly
doing a
the
lot of
word
things.
panicked was the last one. Something and panicked in commiseration.
and Warren almost killed a wretched.
Yeah,
Shot
the
it
cute
twice. Missed
His
and
own
hit it again.
pet wretched.
Turned to
I mean, it's
Don't
not
ask
really
for
a pet, it's more of a friend.
I mean,
It's a little friend that I can't even mercy kill now. It's too innocent, cute.
There was an evil DM laugh somewhere in there.
There's a lot of those are, don't judge off those, man, those happen a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll leave a laugh when nothing's wrong at all and I just do it because I like it. So, I mean, you just gotta take those with a grain of salt. All the salt, fun stuff.
I'm ready to take notes. And present.
Let's go.
New character.
Where do we start? That's what I want to know.
I think we finished with me, so you would be starting with the S3.
We ended with Warren and then Burl. And then, so it would be our group next.
That's what I said.
And that would kind of be the rotation.
With the creepy things that are following us.
woo!
Yay, creepy things.
Yeah, there we go. So, we got you guys in this interesting place.
We're in this hallway, right?
Yep.
Quite interesting.
Approaching the door.
One with mirrors, approaching a door. What kind of door?
A door kind of door.
Another interesting door like the ones that you came in through to
The
this
one-
hallway.
Too bad I can't remember them.
For way too long before you realize that they're pull doors.
Hate those doors.
The real enemy.
You know, Grim would do that.
Right. The embarrassment alone.
And I feel like we two would just watch you.
Right.
Watch you struggle.
Because he doesn't know what I'm doing, and you because you.
It's funny.
And it'd be funny. Anything interesting about the door?
There's a few interesting things
It's not one
about
of those
it.
instant death doors, is it?
No, but it's like the one you came in before, as I mentioned. Before. You know, it's one of those doors
That was
that
like
has
2
like a
weeks ago.
spinning point
Oh
on it.
yeah.
Cool.
This one is, you know, sort of like the. Yeah, it's just
So
sort
we
of.
should all open the door together so that we don't get separated.
I'll go through one side and you'll go through the other, and
That's
then we won't
the
be.
wrong-
That's not how it
That's the
goes.
wrong approach to take. Nakia.
We're supposed to be a joke.
You know I love you. Let's do the other one. Let's do. How about it all?
What?
The other way that Nakia didn't suggest, which is the right way.
Which is we all go through the door the
We
correct
all
way
go through it the correct way.
and not get trapped on the other side.
Nakia, how about we do what you didn't say? Because that seems like the correct thing to do.
That was the point. I said that as a joke.
Oh, I don't get glad humor at all.
I'm not sure when you're joking
Sorry,
or
I'm
when
just
you're
making
actually
notes so I know where you
legitimately
guys are
being
going.
dumb. Because you have said that your character's dumb.
Also, I
Did I?
You did.
He's average. Average.
What's
Not
his
dumb.
intelligence modifier?
0.
Yay!
So average.
My intelligence modifier is 4.
You are extra smart.
Alright. It enters into a kind of a weird room.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say weird way. And I was very concerned.
It turned out that the only way to go in was through 2 people in the
You actually enter a room that's this kind of large cylindrical thing up ahead, and there's all these sort of like bumps and things, and there's water dripping like basically from the ceiling on each side of it, and these parts of the cylinder room just turn beneath the water, and there's weird stuff. The room's just kind of moving as it goes all the way across. Yeah.
So the walkway that we're on, does it go across?
It goes down a bunch of steps, and then it leads to a point where a bunch of like platforms and things, parts of the walls, essentially these giant turning sort of wheel-shaped things with all sorts of interesting nonsense, usually water wheel style, catch water to, propel the motion.
I go down the stairs.
It's a giant rotating room?
Well, there's a whole bunch of these in sequence, and they do opposite directions.
Ah.
Yeah. And then there's another stairs in the door at the end.
Okay. So it goes into the water.
A little bit. It's like a foot deep.
So is this essentially like in those games where you have to like time it to get across?
A little bit.
So are we gonna have to make athletics checks? Because that's gonna be fun.
Oh, good.
Oh, I can do that. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah. I want to get to the door at the end. Tell me
I feel
what
like
to
we
do.
should have the Twilight Princess water temple thing going on.
No, I wouldn't do that, but maybe the Ocarina of Time one.
Yeah, this is pretty
It
creepy.
is a little bit more mechanical, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, is there anything else that's observable? Can I roll like a perception check or something?
Sure, roll one.
Roll the perception.
Would it be Ocarina of Times or Majora's Masks? Because
My
they're
perception was
mechanical.
better.
Majora's Mask is
Very
in the metal.
Especially
Like
since my
everything
perception was
else.
7. I didn't realize
I've been
that.
pretty decent +5, but you got me.
Just like, the wheels
16
and
plus
the
7.
mechanics and the
Go.
water. It's gonna make
Twilight
something.
Princess has things like that. but they're
My
different.
perception is +1.
All right, so we got a 23.
23 out.
We
All right.
I did.
we definitely all
I-
got 23.
So,
Including me, totally.
So Ku notices that every now and then there's sort of a gap between some of them. Every other one. So I guess the even numbered, kind of sections. They have a
Treasure chest?
no. But there are literally 3 even sections, 2, 4, and 6 is whatever number them, and each of those has fewer necessarily like the actual bumps and things to catch water, and so they actually turn much slower. But you do notice that you do see like a glint on them, sort of these like glints. So looks metallic, and it looks sort of like pulls from a distance, but probably some kind of blade or knife or something.
Okay, so are they? So are these? I just need to understand this a little bit more. Are they rotating like horizontal circle things, or
No.
are they vertical?
They are
Because
vertical.
they're going
It's a cylinder
in
room.
the path, right?
So imagine, Josh.
Cylindrical room.
Yeah, and the things are turning kind of like
Oh, like on the wall. The walls are turning.
walls, floor, ceiling.
So
Yeah.
it's like when you're going into that tunnel, it's spinning and you're like trying to walk straight.
Yeah, but each parts are different, and there's all sorts of junk in the way on the walls. And there's water, and it's just,
Are there like blades that are on the walls?
I just mentioned some.
I want to so investigate those glints.
They're
You
gonna
can
be
approach
good, yeah, you
and
better
do
be
so.
careful.
I think
Yes.
we should approach the room.
You roll an
These
investigate.
walls are making me uncomfortable.
Ooh, not as good. That's an 8.
That's just what happens.
It's a hard room to be in if you have a phobia of dying.
You have a lot of interesting stuff to notice, and there's a lot of water, and there's a lot of movement. It's hard to focus. You don't notice anything notably different.
15.
What are you rolling for?
Investigation.
You
We're all
investigate,
towards
and you
this.
find that you're the new Sherlock Holmes. Congrats.
Guys, I don't know who that is, but I'm that.
Maybe it
Wouldn't Bran out of everyone know what that is?
Sherlock Holmes?
I don't know.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
I think I
don't know
was
if that
mixing up
exists
your
in this
other
universe.
character.
It's your patron.
They got wheels.
Well, the wheel and the magnifying glass, they're pretty close
That
and
night shot
similar.
one. It's official. It's canon. I am Sherlock Holmes.
Service, I hope. What
It's not. That was
Yeah, let's start
sarcasm.
talking English
Podcast.
after the rest of this.
There you go. I like that one.
Pip pip cheerio. Just gonna. I actually have a terrible British accent.
Well,
I
it
feel this
doesn't
every
help
time
that
I
there's
say
like
Russian accent.
You go on one mission.
there's like 7 different
Just can't do it right
dialects.
the rest of the time.
This is 3.
Actually, there's more than that.
That's
I think that there's 7 London
There are a lot of
dialects.
Well, I think British. So the problem with British is I seem to confuse it sometimes with Aussie. Because British and Aussie,
I think everybody does.
to a little bit of a degree.
It hurt. It doesn't help that I lived over there for a long time, and so it's like I can't do it justice, you know. Like I can't even Americanize it right. Right. Exactly. See, I hear that, and I think.
I can.
It almost
Here's my problem: is that when people start throwing out accents, I want to use an accent, but then I get very self-conscious in case that there's someone that does know what it is. Because then I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly or not, and I don't want to offend people.
So I think Brand's gonna advance down to the bottom of the stairs.
Cool.
It's okay, we're in a fantasy world.
Oh, you're
What's in the
investigating and
accent
get
and
any
the
of the
accent?
stuff?
And what's in front?
You have a dwarven accent.
Well, the stairs, descend into about a foot deep of water. There's the rotating floors, wall ceilings, things,
They're going different directions.
No, you're
Every other one, yeah. So this one is going clockwise, this one's counterclockwise. And they
Do the
just
wheels?
switch off.
Do the wheels like does the body of the wheel like something I can walk on? Does it seem like walkable? Like if I stood on, obviously it would wheel me to the side or something,
Yeah.
but
They're not so fast that they just instantly destroy you, but they aren't something you can really stand on very long.
so I can run through it.
You could try.
No, I was asking if do they have like holes in them or are they like?
Most of them don't have holes, but there are little openings for water to catch from the ceiling. There's interesting water drops and holes for water, but
those
the
holes are
water's
small enough that
the holes aren't big enough that you would fall through them at
Okay.
Wait, so is there a way out of this room?
all. Yeah, I said there's a door at the other end.
Okay. This door, because I'm really confused about what exactly the makeup of this room is.
So it's a hallway that's rotating different directions.
To be fair, the characters have
Right.
probably never seen anything like this other than the alchemist's lab, and that was
Right.
less
This
crazy.
actually all looks very entertaining.
Yeah,
It's
I
kinda
mean,
like
Koo herself being
Yeah,
a tinkerer
when
is
you guys
very
are there,
interested.
you are very aware that there are metal glints and probably blades on the even ones. They're not on the odd ones, so the first, third, and fifth ones are not sharp if you mess up.
all of a sudden this has ramifications. Well, I will.
Lubricate. It's mine.
So
I mean, we just have to go through them, right? I don't know any other way to.
big long cylinder with different parts rotating in different directions. And the odd one, the even ones have blades in them.
Yes. They have something glinting, which we can assume are blades that
So
will
when you're
kill
closer,
us.
they look a lot more like a blade.
So
I'm
describe-
not noticing the blades.
So
I
describe
tell you,
blades.
there are blades.
Where?
You see a blade that's
Where are
really
the
sharp.
blades?
Don't worry about it.
Looking,
Oh, okay.
comes to a taper point. Looks like a spike.
So there's spikes.
Pretty long ones,
Okay.
2-3 feet. Pretty big.
The problem is they're all rotating, so we can get on the first one that doesn't have spikes, but if we aren't sure of ourselves, then we're gonna end up in a big rotating mess and not be able to. Because if we jump on number 2, we can die of spikes. There's spikes.
How far is this room? How long is it?
I mean,
Each one of these is about 10 feet each.
Oh yeah.
So each
Pass-
segment's 10, 10, 10, and there's 60 of those.
can we pass through these even ones without getting hurt? If we were super fast or something?
So
You move speed is 30, your running speed is twice that, so yes, you can go through the whole thing if you run.
Wait, but there's spaces in between each one, right? Or is it?
You just gotta do the Mario
they-
thing where you run so
Like
fast that you
Huh?
skid over the spaces.
They do connect. There's not really a lot of space to
In between
rest.
them. Okay, so this is a running game.
Okay.
This is dashing.
Who's
Super dash.
who wants to go first?
Is
I don't think
the
we should all
room?
go at once. I think
No,
please.
Don't go all at once.
The true spirit of DMing, explaining wheels for 30 minutes.
Well, this is a very confusing thing to understand.
I like to make confusing rooms because you guys get bored of the mental walls very quickly.
I have an idea.
I think Nakia should
Is
go
there something I
first.
can steal?
Yeah.
Okay.
To move on.
What was your
How
idea?
long is the room?
60 feet.
Oh. Okay.
My reason being, now hear me out. If you get
Is
hurt,
the biggest?
I can heal you.
I can also
If I
teleport,
get hurt, you just get teleport.
but only 30 feet.
Oh, it's only been at 60 feet away.
Just run 30 feet and then teleport the rest
Just
of the way.
two spell slots.
Flying leap.
Flying leap.
Okay,
I can leap.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
Horizontal jump of 60.
go, Nakia, go.
I'm gonna run as far as I can, and then if I fall or anything, I'm going to like have my Misty Step prepared to go to the end or as far as I
I
can.
know, but
Yeah, so you're gonna prepare it and then you're gonna run.
just for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like almost like readying it, except not quite, because that's not how readying actually works.
Yeah, that's not how it works, but I'll let you do it.
And I'm going to touch you on your shoulder and cast
Oh, okay.
resistance.
Oh,
No, guidance.
okay. I should be fine though.
No, definitely resistance.
This is
Yeah, okay.
athletics.
Guidance. I'm going to go to guidance.
Well, make up your mind, dang it.
This is an athletics check.
Yeah, it would be athletics.
Ooh, nat 20.
Nat 20, you go right through, you don't even need your spell. You managed to keep your footing, you've got long strides.
I want to say this is my first nat
You
20
timed
in the
it
game.
really well, so you actually just run right through, and you just sort of like keep running up the other stairs too. You just run to the door, and you're just like, oh wow, I did it.
You're like, that was exhilarating.
Come on, guys, the water's fine.
You're like,
That
oh,
looked easy.
you're like, that's not so bad.
I'm gonna do one thing really fast.
Okay.
Who's definitely impressed with her analytical mind of that timing has to be perfect. Yeah, golf clap.
Pretty sure Brad's gonna go next. That's encouraging.
That's what I was thinking. Honestly, in my brain was that it was gonna go Nakia, Brand, then 2.
Okay, I'm gonna run through the spinning thing.
Run, run,
Yeah,
run
sure.
as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm
Okay,
Bran.
What's your athletics?
+3.
Got this.
That's 12.
Okay.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
Alright, you
Not
make
that
it
one.
most of the way without event, but you do line up poorly with the fourth one.
Okay.
This one has a sharp spike. I want you to make an acrobatics check to try and like run and not run into a sharp object that's moving right at you.
Acrobatics is not my strong suit. Oh, that's a 13.
13? No, you managed to avoid it. It's close. You're about a foot away from it when you do it, and if you're like, you could have run right on into that. And you notice as you run by, that's not just a point, that's like a knife. So running at it, you can just cut yourself off.
Watch out for the knives, Q.
Thanks.
And you make it through without other problems. You avoid your issue.
With that athletics check, I probably could have carried all of you on my back.
I'm gonna high
You're gonna roll nat 20s, like, come on, man.
I want to know why everybody feels the need to run through this thing rather than taking their time and actually, timing where they're stepping.
Because every
They're
section's
all on
rotating.
top of each other and they're all rotating.
They're
There's
in
no
a row.
time to hot
I mean,
touch it.
you would use your time.
Basically, if you were to stand on each one, you'd have to make a check for every single one if you walked slowly. If you tried to walk at full speed, you would still have to make more checks. But if
I
you
guess
run, fewer checks that are harder.
If you stopped on one, you'd have to kind of walk like a treadmill on that, like
Yeah.
a hamster wheel.
And that's not very possible because there's a whole lot of bumps and stuff on it. They kind of kind of go
It's
around.
meant to be run through. That's what the DM told us. So it's
I mean, you could try.
all right, Q, you got this.
Ha! Super got it.
Alright.
That's a 23.
Not bad.
She did cartwheels the whole way.
Not bad. She
Gotta show us up.
times it.
Yeah, she makes it through without any other events. She's well aware of the timing now that she's seen Nagia do it, and Bran almost not do it.
I had a good example and a bad example.
It wasn't bad, it was just almost bad.
Not as good example.
Not in there, 20.
We beat your spinning puzzle.
Yeah. Oh, it was just a room to be like, hey, this place is weird.
Meaning puzzle.
That's just for flavor.
Okay.
And so there's a door at the end. This one's another pushy door, but you're on the inside of this, so there's the two sets, they're both on tracks, kind of, so they spin. So yeah.
We go through.
Go through the pushy door.
Make sure to go through all together.
Okay, don't go through the other side now. We've been through this.
What if we
Are you
all
all
go
together or are
through
you
the other
going one at a
side?
time?
Oh, we are going all together.
Okay.
All
You push it,
together.
and as it opens up, it swings open and water just splashes you guys back. Make an athletics check because you're not ready for it.
Athletics?
Brace for the
11.
friendship.
Oh
Nat 20.
No, 13. No, 14.
11. I rolled a
The
5.
knife actually gets kind of like startled a bit and kind of goes back a bit, but Brad manages to just hold everybody there and like sort of a friend hug, just like
That's
we're
good
okay.
because that much
The
water
water
would
goes
like,
and the other door
have
just
you gone.
stops it, and then you guys are okay, and you're just like, okay, so it's gonna pour lots of water when we open it.
Friendship. Oh, this was he yelling. That's his battle cry.
How much water? Like, is it the
It was
full-
enough to push a Goliath back slightly.
Right, but I mean, like, if I was on top of his shoulders, like, is it hitting full force on us all the way up his
No,
height?
but it hits up to his waist, so you'd.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna get on his shoulders. We're going through this door.
Okay, hop on.
It's not really built for heights, but it is pretty tall. It does fit his height, so yeah, you could do that, but you'd have to duck down slightly
That's fine.
because
You'll just, like, have your
somehow
head
you are
next to
just too tall on top of a Goliath. Who knew?
Imagine that.
All right, you guys are ready?
Yeah.
Push the door. The water comes out. You guys make an athletics check again. This time, I'll let you know. It's probably not as hard.
19.
19? Yeah.
I got a 10, but I'm on top of this.
Yeah, he just takes you with.
19
Yeah, okay,
is
cool.
19 as well.
Your goal is just to hold up.
19.
19? Yeah, you guys just push into this, and you're in the water. And the door behind you just clicks shut, right? You guys are in sort of a large kind of pillar area. It's sort of well illuminated by these kind of like, it's glass, just panels every now and then, all the way down. And then there's glass panels going up. So there's these two spirals of glass that shine sort of light so you can even see. And this whole thing's just full of water down and up.
So we're
And,
underwater
yeah,
right
Are we in
now?
the middle, so there's like going down and going
Yeah,
up, or is it?
and there's almost like 100 feet up, and then you see maybe air, and then you see down. It just goes into the darkness again.
I think you guys still have your water breathing, don't you?
Yeah, it lasts for a full day, full 24 hours.
Yay!
Nice.
Roar.
And we all have it, even the cat.
Yeah.
God, so many decisions. Up or down, man. Up or down.
I don't think we can we still. Did we decide we can talk with water breathing or no?
You can. There's just one.
You can communicate, but you cannot make sounds properly.
I don't like dirt.
Down. I vote down. Well, you can see the
Yeah, the mirror.
the mirrors are making it not dark.
You can see the kind of glass openings do provide some mild light, but it does get much darker the deeper you go. Whereas up top, it is brighter.
Let's play a game.
Brad's like shaking his
Okay,
fist.
high or
Let's
low?
play a game.
High or low?
I vote low.
Would you like to play a game?
You can't roll a dice in water.
High. So I'm choosing the opposite of you.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say we could play a game where not hide and seek, but something where you have to close your eyes and count.
I mean, so do you really want to go down?
Not you.
It was more like my idea was if
Yeah.
there's air up above, there's gonna maybe be a place where we can't.
It's probably already lit.
Like it might be a dead end, is my thought because gravity. And if we're in water.
So wait, question for the DM.
Sure.
Does Brad get tinglies either way?
That's a
Is
good
this like
question.
spider sense? Can I? We agreed the spider sense is Brand sense, right?
No, we did
That was
not.
part of the conversation earlier today. So,
This is brand sense. This
Pretty
is
sure.
is Brand senses tingling? That's what we need to know.
I'm not sure Brent has sense, but
Ow!
Okay, so while we're debating this all mutely underwater, Brand's gonna be like,
nothing tells you to go up or down.
We can check what's up above. I was just thinking down because there might be mysteries down. But
I think
up
up
is
is
fine
the
up
clear
too.
choice. You gotta go up to the light, because light is Brand's friend.
Well, the DM never said that there was light. He just said that there was air.
No, he said it looked like the
I did say it was brighter.
Oh, you did? missed that.
Light is my friend. Let's go to the light.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm just worried that there's not going to be our mission. At this point, Koo just wants to get out
Up the water.
of the dreamscape before she dies.
But we also established that Brand can't swim.
Well, first you have to get the rocks out of your pockets.
I didn't have any rocks.
He's done a lot of journeying.
Did I? I didn't have any rocks. I just voided all the water in my, or the air in my lungs and sunk.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you put rocks in your packet to sing.
They did.
Oh, they did, yeah.
But we made it very clear.
You guys
that
still
I
have
could
rocks,
breathe.
by the way?
We still had rocks.
It was the
Yeah.
water breathing.
Yeah.
So I guess you
I
guys just
think
go
I
down.
took them out of my pants and put them into my bag.
Well, was there not a
It's getting
landing for us to get?
Nope.
Oh, I guess we're not yet.
Well,
We go through the door. We're
Now is it like the iron boots?
We were sinking. Yes.
Okay,
I am sinking.
Let's go
I
up.
am sinking.
Alright, you guys descend into the abyss, and we'll go to the next person.
I love when you made it for that, and then like, nope, you have rocks.
Just kidding.
You guys like are all debating amongst yourselves, and then you realize, wait a minute, that's a lot further away than it used to be.
Yeah, Brand's
I
like
thought that-
frantically pointing up. Like,
I thought that we were standing on the landing.
But it's fine.
We are now down.
Alright, Warren,
That's fun.
Me, yes.
you are standing inside the town, which requires slightly different ambiance.
Slightly more Silent Hillish ambiance and less going on for this.
There's water, yeah.
Yeah.
by the way, I am referring to the three of us as Bank because it's Bran and Nakyaku.
Yeah, so you find
That's
yourself
how I'm going to refer to us in the notes because I'm super
in the
Well, are you making
upper
us
canopy of buildings. You were on all these bridges, and as you keep going through the bridges, you notice there are a lot of bridges. In fact, it's basically like each building has multiple bridges. Different rooms, different floors. The ground beneath you is at least 2 stories down right now, and you have seen one of the shuffling, multi-armed figures just sort of like huddled against a wall, just kind of rocking back and forth slowly. And yeah, those buildings seem to stretch out for a long way, and in certain parts there's no visible sky. It's just building kind of nests that build into each other in a weird way that shouldn't happen.
Good golly. The one that he passes by that's just sitting there rocking, the urge to shoot it is there. Because that's his berserker button, but he just reduces it to eye twitching instead and holds it in. So he does a perception check looking around for any sign of coup. He did roll a 20. A natural.
That 20?
Yeah. You make the same mistake.
Okay, that 20. You are aware.
I see through many rolls.
She all of a sudden gets X-ray vision.
No, you're not going to get something you can't have. Nat 20 doesn't mean defy reality, and it doesn't give you a free wish spell. It's
But it's in the dream world, anything's possible.
not even in a dream world. Because that would probably be dream. It wouldn't be real, would it? And I don't think you want that. So you are very much aware that Burl's not beneath you, and you haven't seen Burl, and you haven't seen any footprints of Burl's anymore. The trail is just kind of, ended, and you're kind of like, there's not really a lot of that. But you are able to notice that there's a whole bunch of weird marks and scratches on doors and walls, and certain patterns in the wood and the stone, especially on the floors. There's this kind of like serpentine scratches every now and then, and and you do see like every now and then you see a glimpse of almost people figures even up among these tall buildings, just glimpses of like people in the abyss before it closes around you again.
Okay, this is actually worse. I'm actually worse off than I was before.
That's your fault.
I'm gonna. Well, how the heck was it going to be the same time?
But you do feel that Burl, you were following Burl's trail, this seems unnatural. There's
Yeah.
stuff going on here.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try calling out, this time loudly, at full volume for Burl.
Okay.
Be ready for whatever response.
Give me a performance check.
Okay.
Who knows? If you're not 20, maybe I'll let Burl hear it.
No, that was a
That's what I thought.
15.
Alright. You gave out a pretty solid call. Just, what does it sound like?
It sounds like Burl!
Alright. At the noise, the figure that was like huddled against the wall like panics and like literally like gets up and just like runs into another wall, and then they just run into another wall and they're just like brutally like trying to run through a wall, but it's like painful and there's like screeching and agony and it just keeps hitting the wall and then it collapses.
Well, there is some serious backtracking going on now. We are leaving post-haste. There's no reason to be in this horrible place. We are going back.
All right, you start to head back. There are more bridges, and none of them seem to have the stairs you came up from.
Poor Warren. So much the opposite of what was wanted. Let's see.
In fact, this might be a good ambiance for it.
I just don't have anything that would be useful in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
For lack of anything else that I can think to do, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals a second time.
Right, you cast the spell.
And I'm going to consult my cat, because heck if I know what else to do. I'm going to open up the bag and be like, where do you think we should go?
Alright. What wisdom does the cat possess?
Let's see. It's got a proficiency bonus, so it might be on, it might be in the manual.
Yeah. I'm gonna give the cat, okay. Just a regular bonus there. The cat rolled okay. The cat is pretty darn confused, and it's like, I've been in a bag. And it climbs out, and it's just like, sad cat noises. Almost like a Wookiee Chewbacca noise at the moment. It's really kind of...
It's the disgruntled cat noise.
Yeah, it's just very grumpy.
Okay. Oh, this is great. What was that? No, I can't pull up a nat 20 from before. Well, we're gonna do another perception check, and this time just to look around to try and...
Give me an investigation since you're looking for stuff. You've already perception once.
Okay, so that's 12.
Okay. As you investigate your surroundings a bit more thoroughly, you're aware that the thing that was below has not moved since. You're also aware that one of these buildings in the distance, there is at least one figure just hunched over on a railing, and they're just kind of like just hanging against a railing limply. Roughly humanoid shape.
Very, very lost.
Almost like they're just like, if you pushed them, they would just fall off.
The
like
urge
6
to do that
stories.
is still there.
It's a long ways away though, but
It doesn't seem like the wisest course of action, and there's no obvious reason to do this.
Aside from just letting go in his berserk. Just be like, I need to kill you! Go
He's
away!
alone. He's alone right now, that's bad. Oh, no. How about an Arcana check?
sure.
He's not magical. He's got some magic. Can you? Oh, that's
Are you
just
proficient in it?
No.
Well, if you're proficient in it, no matter what, and if you're not, then I'm sorry.
No, I'm not proficient in it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it was a 4 roll anyway. I guess he's just gonna start walking. Because what else can he do? He just proceeds to wander and see if something else turns up. The opposite direction of the thing that he sees, also on the rooftops with him.
Okay. As you go, the kind of bridges you remember, they are wood, and they do little creaky noises and kind of like the rope-like noise, you know, as the rope tightens and loosens. It's just kind of. But they all seem pretty solid. And you keep going through. You get to another building. This one has stairs going up and stairs going down, but the stairs going down are kind of, half stairs going down. They kind of end into a wall, but you could still probably like climb down if you were gonna make an attempt to a lower floor.
I'm gonna do one more investigation check, and that is a 20 to see if my little friend with the big blue eyes has been following me by any chance.
What'd you roll again?
It was a 20, but not a nat 20.
Yeah, just a total 20.
Yeah. He was asleep when I last left him. So.
You are aware that your friend is there, just kind of in the other building that you just came from. It's just across the bridge. It hasn't crossed the bridge yet and doesn't seem like it wants to do that with everyone here.
Okay, I guess I'll go toward him rather than go down the stairs.
That's the way back, but
okay. I will cross it.
alright, you do.
And be like, where do you think we should go?
Okay. Just cross the bridge.
Does the animal talking allow you to speak with Frickin?
I think it's
Does it allow you to
specifically-
speak to monstrosities?
I don't think so.
Any
It just
creature?
specifically says can talk with animals. They can speak to me. Might even be persuaded to do a favor, but it doesn't say anything about monsters or aberrations.
How interesting.
It's just a pose that goes along with it of I'm open to ideas pose.
Alright. Yeah, doesn't seem to do much to that. It just kind of like sits down a bit.
Okay. I guess I'll go down some stairs.
Yeah. Your cat and it do make eye contact
Okay.
for a moment, and then they just look away.
Glad they're getting along. I assume the cat is also a part of it and wants to kill things, but it's holding it in. Okay.
We'll see.
So we go down some stairs. What is in the upper floor of this place?
The upper floor, there's a kind of a nice looking room. It's like somebody used to live here. There's a bed, there's some cupboards, there's some clothes. It's really actually quite ornate, the bed and the sheets and things. They're very well woven. There's little like marks in them. They're almost a bit more noble than peasant sort of stuff. And, just a pretty regular room. It seems a bit too neatly put away. It's a little too tidy, and there's no dust on anything.
Interesting. Does a nat 20 perception show me anything significant in this room, or is it just like a really nice room?
Yeah, you're aware of this sort of one of those snake-like scars in the floor has been covered up by a rug, and the kind of the path of that goes out this sort of window. It's almost a door, but it's not really a door, and it's onto a balcony. Yeah, there's a little balcony that you're aware of, but it would have been easy to miss, I guess.
Maybe you should follow where the snake patterns are going.
Let's definitely not do that. Let's definitely not find what left that and just go down some more stairs.
Alright, you go down the stairs?
Yeah.
Alright, there's another bridge. There's two other bridges that are on this again,
So there's many layers of bridge going on. There's upper bridges and then lower story bridges.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Is there any way back down to the ground floor?
There is the stairs that go into a wall, and there's about 15 feet of a drop to the next floor down, which isn't floor, but it's like that's a floor down.
We'll cross the bridge first. So we're going into the next building over.
Okay. You cross this bridge, and you're into this other building. This one, you enter more of... I mean, you could see it as you approached it, but this one's more of almost like a kind of a tavern-y look to it. There's, all the stuff you would have, but none of the seating arrangements, just the bar portion.
Is there any food that I can see from glancing around?
I didn't think about it, so I'm rolling. And
Depends how much of a dream tavern this is.
There are a few old dusty glasses, filled with the dark spirits.
Okay. Not quite what I was hoping for, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially since there's probably like a thin veil of dust on the top.
It's like they haven't been opened, but it's also like, this stuff probably keeps for a long time.
This is fair. Okay. Is there stairs down in this tavern area?
There aren't from here, but there is a ladder going up in the back, and there's a trap door that it goes up to, like, an attic door style thing that you push up. And then there's another bridge that goes up the other side of this to a different building.
Mm-hmm. Is there any chance that the ladder can be removed? Is it
you go over to the ladder?
into the wall? I guess we're gonna look at it.
It's a wooden ladder. It's been attached, but it's not too heavily attached. You could try to take it off the wall.
Okay.
It's about 10 feet tall ladder. It's
Okay. I'm gonna try something that probably won't work, but we're gonna see. So I'm gonna go back out to the walkway, and is it like... So it's a wooden walkway, and you mentioned ropes. Is it like attached with ropes to either side?
They are attached with ropes to either side. They are sort of a rope bridge style thing, as they were from the beginning, but they are still remaining that.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty taut though. They're not super saggy or anything. They're just, good 15 feet maybe of rope on each, and they do kind of like coil around some pillars and stuff against each of the walls, but it doesn't look necessarily like they're super anchored. You could probably untie them or cut them loose if you wanted to.
Yeah, the hard part is...
But you are aware that that would ruin the bridge.
Well, yeah, but...
Or at least make it really dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to... This probably won't work, but I'm going to try and shoot one of the ropes out on the opposite side. So that's a 16 to attack.
Alright, you hit it. Roll for damage.
Let's see. So that's 11 damage.
Alright, the rope snaps.
Okay.
After a bit of the arrow goes into it, and then the rope just kind of pulls and then whips off, and it whips kind of towards you, but doesn't necessarily hit anybody or anything. It just kind of snaps towards you really fast. Your cat is slightly irritated at the rope.
I put the cat in my bag.
The cat is very irritated at being put in the bag.
Close the lid over.
It rebels. There's hissing.
Does she have to do an acrobat dexterity saving to keep from getting clawed?
No, the cat's not going to claw you, but it is very upset with you.
The cat style. Alright, so I'm going to aim for the other rope also on the opposite side from where I am.
Alright, you know the drill.
Alright, so that's a 12. Just try and hit it from 15 feet away.
You hit it. Roll damage.
So it's 13 14 damage.
Okay. That one snaps as well. This one just gets cut, more or less.
Good.
And the rope snaps. It's a lot more rickety, and there's not a ton of support, so it does look a lot less safe to traverse, but the ropes on the other end are cut. So
Okay.
the upper end ropes, lower end ropes are sort of remaining to leave the walkway slightly intact.
I guess I was a little bit confused. I was picturing, like, basically a ladder with wood slats on either side. Was shooting them hoping that the other side would fall and give me a makeshift ladder that I could climb down.
That
But
is
not quite how it works.
well. If you wanted to shoot the bottoms, yeah, you can, and the bottom just like falls. That can be fair, and the slats connected to it because they are connected.
And then theoretically, the whole thing would smack against.
It does. It makes a lot of noise.
Yeah. There's no avoiding that part.
There's a lot of shuffling below. Every now and then you hear soft whispers and kind of things you can't really make out. And you also hear noise from around, less below, but just echoing through the city, echoing through the town. The noise just seems to have done stuff.
Interesting. Okay, so before I climb down, I'm going to go ahead and go up the ladder into the attic. I don't know if my turn is still going.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be it though.
Alright, so I'm up in the attic, or the rooftop access, whichever one that happens to be.
Okay. So you went up to the attic and you pushed open the hatch, and you're in an interesting room. There's a whole lot of ladders here. In fact, the walls, there's just ones on each wall.
Okay.
And
The walls are made of
they are...
Like their room was just made out of...
No, there's these windows and doors up at the top that they all lead to different ones. But it's like 30 feet up, and these ladders are just super long. And it's just this big old tall ladder room.
Huh. Guess I'll be dealing with the ladder room the next time. In the next round, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's I'd say there's like 4 decent openings and 4 good ladders that go anywhere. The others are just around.
Okay, and really quick, do they lead up back onto the roof access where I could find other places?
They lead up, but nothing goes up through the roof. They all just go sort of up the sides at a certain point. So maybe.
Okay.
You can't really tell. It's a ways up.
Gotcha.
All right, Kylie,
Yes.
where are we at?
I believe we were left off in some big fancy room with a bunch of like Greek kind of statue things.
Oh, that's right, in the hallway, and you put a statue on another pedestal.
And it clicked and ended up dropping the other one and kind of broke. And
Yes.
the creature guy was still holding on to the one that we just put on the pedestal.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing that's going on.
Yep.
So, what do?
So I'm gonna see if I can, because this thing doesn't seem to respond to at least vocal noises in conversation. I'm gonna see if I can't project kind of an emotion and thought process onto him about letting go of the statue he's got currently.
Give me a charisma roll.
Scottish chuckling.
That would be an 8.
An 8, huh?
Yeah.
That's not too good.
No.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Don't die.
Wisdom's not the best. Come on. Oh, yeah, 18.
All right. You managed to suppress this absolute wave of just kind of emotional discharge. And for a moment, you feel just all sorts of anxiety, and it leaves you kind of shaky afterwards. But you manage to kind of shrug that off
Okay.
And
It's
just
okay,
kind of like
buddy.
get away with that.
Just gonna pat that hand that I'm holding on to just go, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. Alright, well, I guess I'll just try to reach for the other statue and see if he'll follow my actions.
It just holds on to you very thoroughly, as it is holding on to the statue. But it does move its head towards the statue and whispers in its ear, I know what you did.
The statue it's holding on to, or the one that broke?
The statue that it's holding on to, yeah.
I thought I was talking to you.
Oh, it's weird. Okay. I'll be like, what did I do?
It doesn't respond.
Oh. Okay. So it's not picking up that I want to try and move the other statue then,
No.
and it's not letting go of the other one. So I'm just kind of stuck here with it, the statue.
Seems like it.
Okay. Can I try? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what I've got. I don't know if position of privilege is going to do anything for it. You're like, listen here. I am an ability, so you need to listen to me. No. That won't work.
Maybe you can try to project the position of authority.
Yeah, maybe. Can I try and project that with my, if I try again to get it to understand what I'm wanting it to do?
You could try. That'd be a charisma check of some kind. Probably persuasion. Or...
Oh yes, let's do that. Let's totally do that. Ooh, yes, that's gonna make it 24.
24. Not bad, not bad. Unfortunately, it does beat you.
Aye!
And you need to make a charisma saving throw.
Again! I give up. Well, that would be a 14.
Alright. That'll do it. You managed to keep hold of yourself.
No, sorry, 16.
Yeah, you felt incredibly compelled to hold on to it and the statue. But you managed to like kind of restrain yourself from just like trying to like death grip those.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna try and walk with them then, like we've been doing.
It tries to take the statue with it. And the statue does come off with it.
No, don't do
And
that!
the click kind of happens again.
Don't do that. I'll go back. Go back. Go back.
It does not respond to that, but it does kind of like it's a way you're saying stuff.
Okay. What if I try and gesture and then let go?
It doesn't really get it.
Okay, I will walk back with it and put a hand on the statue and we'll put it back on the thing and then I'll let go and see if I can get it to let go too.
Okay, so you go back and the statue goes into position, there's a click, and you let go and you kind of move back and it keeps holding on. And there's just a lot of difficulty there. And there's a miscommunication there.
Somewhere. Trying to communicate with it. I don't know how else.
Hard rolling sometimes.
I've been rolling things.
Mm.
Pretty soon I'm gonna roll to a point where I'm not gonna make it.
Good point.
And I've got nothing on my features.
Can you gently tie it up?
Interesting.
Or shimmy yourself in between it and the statue so maybe it holds you.
We can try that.
You might get some hooks in the back.
Yeah, you can always try to like kind of pry it off the statue a bit and just,
I might gently move my hand up in the tray to move its hand off.
It doesn't really respond well to that. It's just kind of like, no.
Okay.
Nobody's holding on.
Well, I guess I'll hold on to the statue too. Really, statue friends. Then I hold the statue.
Okay. You're all just in a group walk. You're just gonna sit there forever, then
The statue is
how good are the other guys if you're just gonna wait for your friend?
I need a little bit of guidance here, but I got nothing to get guidance from. I've been trained.
I'm gonna cast guidance on something. My brain says will tingle and I'll just guidance.
Sorry, you do not know that they need guidance right now. I was just seeing if I rolled a nat 20. You know. I just like to consider maybe it's a possibility.
Loud noises may or may not make it freak out and throw itself at a wall for a long
Well, I
period
don't
of time.
want to do that. He's my friends.
Also, he might just squeeze harder.
Yeah, he's kind of holding on to me right now.
Alright, so what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
If I beat out persuasion once, maybe I can start again on a once of them. So I guarantee I'm going to get a good roll.
Okay. What did you roll?
I'm going to lucky that one
Okay.
because I can.
Alright.
Okay, that's a 16 plus my persuasion is 6 makes a 22.
Cool. So 22, huh?
Uh-huh.
And you were trying to get its arms off the statue?
It's trying again to persuade it to let go of the statue and move to the other one.
Alright. It's a worthy attempt. Let me think. Sorry, I just gotta switch something. Alright. So you managed to do so. You pry its hands off the statue, but it does grip firmly to you instead.
Okay.
It's very nervous about it. One of its hands flails with, just looking for something to grab. It's sad the statue is gone, maybe. But you do feel kind of weird. This room is... The statue's in place, but nothing's physically changed, but yeah, you feel like something happened.
I hear music. But it's good. It's good sounds. Okay. So I'll lead it to the other statue that we accidentally broke and see if I can't get it to grab that one.
Yeah.
Then
Alright, you go and try to grab the statue, and you're doing it. Trying to pick up the statue.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Give me an athletics check.
It's not gonna grab it with me.
We'll see.
That's a 10.
You can't lift it.
No.
And
Tiny.
unfortunately, it's a bit heavier and far larger than you.
Alright, well, yeah.
But eventually, your Klingeron decides that they are there too, and they just kind of just grab the statue as well. But they don't pick it up; they just grab it.
Okay.
Statue is grabbed. Head's not grabbed, just the body.
Just the body. I'll try and move him to grab the head then while he's got the body.
Okay, you can pick up the head. It's just really heavy.
Okay, heavy head.
Yep. So you manage to do that, and it drags the body on the floor
Okay.
behind you.
Yeah, and we'll go over to the other
It
pedestal.
makes this hideous grating, stone on stone noise all the way down. It echoes, and kind of changes the mood a bit.
Aww. You can't help it, it's tiny.
But you just start to hear steps and things around this building up and below you and just around. And, you bring the statue over, you kind of arrange it to a pedestal. I'll help you along and just let you work with it to get the statue in place, because you're going to try that all night if you don't.
I know, right? Yes, please. Give me
And
a
it takes
here.
forever. And it's awkward and stupid, and, there's It's not a lot of fun. But getting it to let go of this new statue friend, just make me a wisdom saving throw.
Come on. 17?
Yeah. Okay, that'll do it. You manage to kind of resist this intense, drive that almost takes you over.
Oh boy.
And you manage to get it to let go of this statue, and so you and this thing are sort of hugging and walking. And this statue's in the other position. There's a clicky noise that seems to be close to the other one. You still have the head. The head just doesn't go back on.
I can't mend it.
What are you gonna do with the head?
I guess I'll set it next to the feet on the pedestal.
Right, just roll me an athletics check to see how well you can do that without making tons of noise.
5.
Oh, you just drop it. You try, but just thunk. And you begin to hear just sort of this sort of very soft, just thumps throughout this building, basically all around you. Up, down, left, right, everywhere. Just every now and then, just the sound of a footstep.
Oh boy. Well, there were clicky things. Can I try and do a perception to see if anything in the room has changed?
Sure.
Why have I said that?
Well, you can always try.
Okay, well that's not that bad actually. My perception is it's 19.
Sure, that'll work. You're aware that there is a door that leads kind of up. There's a set of stairs leading up that has kind of become more visible in one of the hallways and the walls between two of the statues. There's a bit of a mechanic, it seems, that might have influenced that.
Okay, yeah, we're going to there. We're definitely going that way.
Alright, you go that way. Yeah, these stairs, they go up, and yeah. They just kind of lead up, they kind of do a spiral, and you can't really see much. It's still pretty dark.
I still have my little orb, and he's still got his glowy eyes.
Yep.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Alright. You keep going, and you head up the stairs, you do all these little turns, and you find yourself in this sort of giant spirally tower. And every now and then there's a window that looks out, and there are small little balconies out of it, and so you can see the massive amount of buildings around you that just rise into the sky as well. Some of them get really close as you go up, and they get kind of around this tower, but they don't impede it as it goes up at all.
Okay.
And yeah, you keep going, and then you find there's other streets on top of other buildings, and it's like a second floor of the city, and then there's more buildings that continue up to the heavens, and this tower just keeps going up. Yeah, exciting. But each of these windows do look like they could be open, and there are those little balconies, and you keep going, and it's exciting. What's your passive perception?
11.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting. You are aware, through one of them, you do see a glimpse of a thing, but that's it. You're not really sure what it was. It was maybe it was a drape. Flag, or who knows?
We'll just keep going.
Alright, you keep going, and make a dexterity saving throw.
There it comes. Good thing that's my best. That makes a 20.
Oh, good luck. You manage to pull your friend away from one of the windows as this humongous kind of jawed beak mouth, just full of these sort of terrifying, like, long, almost like Venus flytrap style teeth, just smashes through the window and just snaps closed where you were. And this, like, thing has so many eyes, just all the way down this jaw, and then it just kind of, like, rolls around a bit with nothing in its mouth, and then just kind of slithers back out. And you got a good look at it's feathered. There's just all these, like, sort of blackish feathers that just cover it. As this sort of neck just, like, slithers out, and this jaw is just kind of like, as they go back out.
I think Merle's just gonna take a moment and cry. She's alone and she doesn't have anybody, and, like, even her friend is. It's nice to have somebody, but he's not doing much, and she's lost, and she's just like, I want to go home.
That's fun. Wonderful times. Alright. So you can keep going up the stairs if you want. You can go down, you can go right. I don't know. Depends.
She doesn't know what she wants to do. She's just gonna go up in the middle of where the things that the stairs are going around and just kind of have a moment.
Right.
Just cry.
Fair enough. Does Burl want a door?
Burl would like a door that leads someplace safe.
Okay. Well, you get an open door to a balcony.
Okay.
This one leads to, it's got like a canopy and stuff. It's not open to the air.
I'll take it.
Cool. All right, we'll get to you in a moment. You three, adventurers extraordinaire.
Adventurers extraordinaire.
Think. You guys are doing the best in the group.
Are we?
The most progress.
Yeah.
Is there best?
Fair point.
So,
I don't really know.
you guys get to the end of this room. You get to this door. Go through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
We
Through the door.
know that a god will
Wait,
Wait, at the bottom of the
We're
tower?
at the bottom of the water.
Oh, that's true.
We're sinking in a
You're sinking at the bottom of this thing, this huge, like, dark expanse. You find a sort of a balcony. It's not huge and it doesn't impede main circle travel, but there's this edge you could stand on or land on as you go down, and there's a door there, and it does keep going down otherwise.
Oh. I was gonna say, why would there be a balcony at the bottom?
Fair point.
It's kind of like the thing you came from, only slightly nicer.
Let's go into the nice one.
Might as well.
Sure.
For Brand's own sake.
All right.
Grant's like frantically.
We're just dragging him down the
All right. You drag him to this door, and it's locked.
Well, can I try opening it?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Underwater.
But you don't have your lockpick, so you're gonna have to do it without.
I'm gonna try and do it without.
All right. Give me a roll.
Do I still use, what do I use with it?
You roll a normal sleight of hand, but you just don't get your lockpick bonus.
19!
Yeah, that'll work. You manage to kind of mess
slide
with this
me,
door, and you kind of manage to work it. You use maybe a knife or something else you have, that you had visibly to kind of replace the lock. They kind of make something to work.
Definitely.
Yeah, those aren't invented here. But, things like it are extinct. So you manage to get this lock open, you push it in, and you guys are pulled in by water force as the kind of door opens and the water rushes into the room. It just pulls you in with it, and the door slams shut again in one of those, regular spinny doors you're so familiar with.
Yay!
And
Spinny door.
Let's go
you
through
can't really
both
see
sides.
too much ahead because the door's in the way, but you guys are in a room with air, and the walls look rather nice, and
Perception check?
there's not much to see from here. Frankly, there's not much I'm not telling you.
just like those. Because the ground.
It's wet.
It's comical.
It also smells of wet dog.
Ah! Wet dog.
Do I smell like that?
Going? Is there a keep going?
Sure. You guys get up and you kind of get around this door.
Yeah.
Kind of the other door that just stands there in the middle of watch your mission. And
Peek around.
no design's perfect, yeah. And You manage to see that this one leads into this sort of kind of large, kind of balcony room. There's this huge circle, and there's this sort of railing that kind of protects this balcony from this great middle drop that you guys aren't really aware what's at the bottom of that. And then it kind of seems to go up, and you seem to see another roof up ahead with sort of some arches kind of supporting it.
So it's a big open cylinder. Like with the roof and arches?
Yeah, you know, kind of like this.
Okay. Alright.
You know, or if you wanted to talk about like the, you know, balcony, it's kind of like
There's a
that.
balcony. This balcony has railing on it?
Yeah,
Good,
so you're not just going to walk off the edge.
Okay, I will go up to the Brand's gonna go up to the railing.
Okay, Brian, you go up to the railing and you look down or up, or you do. Looking up, you do see that there is stained glass above you.
Is there light shining through this thing?
There's light.
Ooh.
What's below?
There are more balconies. Floor's pretty similar to the one you're on, and there's also, you know, a bunch of different kind of opening doorways. One of them, the one that you can see the best, which is, you know, across and down one, because you can basically look right into there. There are shelves and shelves and shelves of books.
Ooh, books.
And, you know, you do see the glimpse of a figure, kind of just almost person-y, but maybe a bit bigger than a normal person, just kind of like, just kind of out of sight, just
Not
sort of invisible.
Not we found your people.
Books?
Bigger people. People bigger than me.
Huh.
I see one.
There's a big person?
Look down there.
What was it?
There was a big humanoid person, and if you didn't look, they did leave vision.
There was a big person down
They just
there.
sort of
We should
walked
go say hi.
deeper
Oh, neat.
into the room.
I missed it.
We should go say hi.
Oh, okay.
Can we get there? Because you said it was like a floor below.
It is a floor below. Looking around, you do see that there is a stairwell on one of the walls to kind of lead you down to the next floor down.
Let's walk down the stairs.
Let's do a thing. And we can't see the bottom of this chasm, right?
You can, but it's like 10 floors down, so it's like real far down.
You think it's
So
you think it's the same as the other one, just not waterlogged?
Let's go down the stairs.
Maybe, I mean, it's a dream, so it could be anything.
Maybe it's just for all the swimming creatures.
Yeah, let's go downstairs.
Going
Let's go to the
downstairs.
library.
To the
Hope you brought your library card.
Who needs a library card if you're fast enough?
True.
The door alarm goes
You're
off.
not talking about stealing anything, are you?
What? It's a
It's-
dream, no one would notice!
Because you know that wouldn't go over very well with me right now.
It's a
I've been
dream!
very traumatized lately, and I can't handle theft on my conscience.
You won't even know.
I don't know why you're talking about stealing books. Books are dumb anyway.
You can't say that.
I mean, it's just like a bunch of paper with like scribbles on it.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be the smart one.
No, I'm supposed to be the smart
She's supposed to be the smart one.
Yeah, that's because she is.
Can you remember what we're talking about? Alright, we're going to the library.
Cool. So you guys head down. You can't go on this balcony. You go into the library, and you don't see the figure you saw, but you do hear them. You hear this set of footsteps just.
I kind of want to hide.
Do they have like the
They're all-
swishy sock sound of wet shoes?
They don't have that sound, but
As I do.
they do have this. They don't sound like they're wearing shoes. They sound very, very normal.
Nakia, call to your people.
Is he my people?
I'm pretty darn sure, and if I'm wrong, you can tell me about it later.
Can I stealth it up?
How about no?
Sure, you can totally stealth it up.
Okay.
Roll a whatever stealth check.
Stealth check.
Sorry, I've been playing 3.5. too,
No,
so-
I've been playing 3.5. That's why I said hide first. Hide and move silently. It's my jam, man. Woo! That's 25.
Not bad, not bad.
Brent's gonna call out, hello, I'd like to check out a book. Ooh, a lot of these books look very interesting.
All right, you call out to just get him a check. Okay. You do hear a set of footsteps coming your direction,
Okay.
and yeah.
We don't have library cards, but we can pay you.
All right. So you say that, and the footsteps keep going, and they get very close, and they come around the corner, but nothing's there. You just hear footsteps come around the corner.
Can we call it again? Hello? Get a library card? Money? Pay? Books?
Nothing happens.
Brandon's just gonna look around. Are there any books that do look interesting? That's the first question.
Give me an investigation check.
I want to do investigation. I want to look for interesting books.
I will
20.
not.
Nice.
That's what he did.
Yeah, you
What are
did.
you looking for? What do you
Karma. I don't know.
I got 17.
Interesting books.
No. So the thing is, Brand is looking for anything that will help them understand where they are or what the heck is going on, because we don't really. I don't think I even remember why we're in this place or what the heck is going on and what the purpose is.
The purpose is the shakes. Hello?
I guess I don't know. We
Who
were
was
just-
taken by a trance?
We were talking to a dead guy. There was this snake thing, and then all of a sudden we're in this dream world, and I guess how do we get back?
I'm busy writing now.
I feel like they're.
Don't have time.
Well, that other guy just kept on dying. So maybe if we die, we get out of the dream.
Like they're thinking.
And then I stab myself in the chest. That was a joke.
If we die, well, here's the thing. I've got revivify, so I can bring someone back to life if they die. So if you die, we can test it out.
I got 17 on my
But then-
investigation.
What if it's
Oh,
just on
sorry.
your end?
Yeah.
And then I'm just dead, but then I'm actually awake. And then you cast Revivify on me, and then I go back to sleep.
And I would say Brand is also generally interested in anything that relates to trying to understand what the heck his powers, his brand senses are, or his deity that he tends to borrow stuff from.
The jury dues intensify.
Wow, wow, wow.
So
Mystery.
you do your thing.
Hey,
You look at the books, and you're looking, and you don't find like this is the way out book, because that's boring. But you do manage to find a very interesting book with a giant wheel on it. And it's written in what languages do you know?
oh, what languages do I know?
He knows all of our
The important ones
languages
that overlap
and
with words.
Dwarven.
Common, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Halfling.
You don't know why.
This is definitely written in Dwarvish.
Okay.
And it's a book, it's a very religious book, and it describes a lot of religious things to do, religious behaviors, religious rituals. And a lot of them are things you've already been doing.
Okay.
But,
Like what?
well, what does Bran do to be religious at all?
He looks at the clock.
He has a wheel, a wagon wheel, and he makes friends.
Makes friends, huh?
Yes,
Eating so
he
much
is
to
very
work.
moral.
Makes friends, and he tingles, and he follows people places that he shouldn't follow them, and now he's regretting that he did. And
Oh, don't regret your life.
But you're reading a book. I thought you loved books.
You do have a strong sense of morals and honor, and you
Dan
act
has a
on
very
it.
strong sense of morals and does not believe in any form of theft or any sort of debauchery.
Oh
of any
no.
kind.
Yeah, it's chill music. It's actually quite a lively place. This book, though, does describe the wheel you encountered exactly in excruciating number detail on what it's for and how it works and all the dates. There's an entire section of what each date means. And like how this might be useful or not. And like there's all sorts of details. It's too much detail, really. Frankly, it's quite boring.
But it's grand.
That's my
I
jam.
love it. Grand. That's my jam.
There's
This
that.
book speaks to me.
There's
Deity, like,
also
boring deity.
a inscription inside the book.
Ooh.
For a spell.
Ooh. What kind of spell?
Call on this particular deity, which is never named in this book.
Oh.
The deity who shall not be named.
Okay.
Well, you don't need to name it. You just need to know that it's awesome and what it wants from you.
Cool.
It teaches you a spell, and you can, you basically, do you know the Arms of Hadar spell already? Well, now you do.
I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna
It's
Google
a warlock spell. Basically, you get to summon Cthulhu tentacles.
So awesome.
Gonna keep lots of people from stealing with that.
Oh no.
It's actually a very good damage spell.
Yeah, please don't use that on me.
Oh, it's a damage spell. Well, I'm looking. Okay.
But that's the spell description, but you wouldn't necessarily know of it as the Arms of Hadar. It's just that's the effect of the spell.
Right.
It may not actually be Hadar. Arms of, not Hadar.
Not Hadar.
Quotes. I'm with the quotes on it. Arms of Hadar. What kind of spell slot does that take up?
I think it's tier 1.
Okay.
Actually,
That's a cool German spell.
I have the play camera. It should be right here.
No, it's right here. It's a first level conjuration.
Yeah, it's actually really good. But you can cast that as if it was a religious spell now. So you can do it as your full cleric spell.
Okay. Cool. I'm good with that.
Which is not normal.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah, just making sure you know.
Yeah, tendrils
You get
batter
the
all
stuff.
creatures within 10 feet of you. Just make a strength save on a failure to 2d6 necrotic damage. Can't take reactions until the next turn. On a success, it takes half damage. Everything within 10 feet?
Yep, self, 10-foot radius.
Sweet. I'm cool with that.
Verbal, somatic, instantaneous.
Cool. Well, that's a fun book, guys. Hey, look, we're learning.
I'm stealthing.
Oh. Hey, look, we're learning.
Oh, you can cast it at higher spells for an extra 1d6 for each slot up.
Yeah, cool.
That's cool.
I got a 17 on my investigation of the books.
Okay, 17's not bad. You read one and you manage to pick up a whole bunch of different tidbits, but nothing really sticks out to you that's like super like, haha, this is the thing. Some of it, most of it, are in just different languages. Like each book's a different language. They're not sorted by language. And
Fair.
some of them aren't even really written in what you think are languages. Some of them are just diagrams that are so complex maybe it's a language. But you do find one, and this one actually is a bit of a drawing of a two-headed snake in this book, and it talks about how the two heads, one's awake while the other's asleep, and the other's asleep while the other's awake, that kind of stuff, and interesting stuff like that, and references all sorts of interesting things about that.
Yeah, like our princess. Hey!
Yeah, and that seems kind of useful.
Yeah. I want to read it. if we're not going anywhere.
Alright, you can totally read about it. You're just reading about this sort of two-headed snake myth.
Mm-hmm.
And, he doesn't necessarily say, it's all like, out and out, like, haha, this is what you want, but it's kind of giving you the idea that maybe there's some useful information there. It does also call this snake a fairy.
Fairy.
Yeah. And you guys do hear more footsteps from another direction, and this one you actually do see. It's this towering, giant that's almost 30 feet tall. It's got, much like the collector, it has heads on each side of its face, but these are in totem stacks of about 6.
Ooh.
So its heads are about 6 heads up, and they just go all the way around in a circle.
Ooh.
And each of them just kind of look and chatter and gaze softly to itself as it just lumbers around kind of awkwardly.
It's like
And
the one guy
it
from
carries
Spy
this
Kids.
huge stack of books in one arm, and then starts reshelving them
Ooh.
on one wall.
Wow.
Hi, friend.
I'm so
One of the mouths looks at you, and then the thing just kind of doesn't do anything. I'm just kidding. But it does reach up with one of its arms in that jerky, gross motion, pulls one of its heads out, and leaves this empty space for a bit, and then the heads above it just fall one level, and this other head is just on an arm, and it puts the head on the floor, and that head kind of grows these white porcelain legs.
He's gonna be our own
And
personal
it's
guide.
just got these legs, and it just sort of crawls over to you, and it says a noise. Do you know? You don't know. So it speaks in a language you don't know.
Anyone know? Did anyone know this? I just want to check out the book.
And then,
I'm surprised I only know 2 languages.
Do you comprehend languages?
I do.
come on, it's kind of what it sounds like.
I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages. That's a first spell, I think.
Common, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Halfling.
Yep, that's a first spell.
Nice.
Alright.
I now understand him.
You comprehend. It is saying. Basically, it's a normal greeting. Is it's not a how are you, but it's very much like a. I notice you are here, and it is good to notice you here.
I love it.
You said that.
So
I can't speak to him though.
I'm gonna. Hold on, what, can I check out this book?
It looks at the book, but you're holding the book up, and it's kind of short compared to you. I mean, its legs are creepy, but they're not that tall, right? And it does look. It's it doesn't. It kind of looks at it. It reaches up a leg, so it's leaning, and uses the leg to flip the cover open and read through a book, and it just kind of closes the book. It's it kind of foot gestures to the front cover of the book, and it's got your name on it, and it kind of gives you this look like you're crazy, man. It's your book.
I'm gonna look at the front of my book now.
You do. It's just a regular book. It kind of gives you the eye thing, but with its
Oh,
feet.
can it see me?
Oh yeah.
I'm stealthy.
It is a celestial being.
Okay,
It sees
fair.
all.
It's not even that. It's just
It's got a lot of heads and eyes.
Not this one.
you know, you feel like you hid while it knew you were hiding.
Okay.
Because you're pretty well hidden now, but you're like, there's no way, but
But it knows for some
But it
reason.
knows, so
I
it
mean-
either knew before or it's just amazing.
For some reason, it knows
Probably
Bron's
just
name. I
amazing.
mean, Brand's name.
No, it just knows that the book isn't their book.
It's definitely gonna be like,
Brent's sitting here thinking, do I
with my name on it.
The thing just kind of like gets a bit impatient waiting there, and then it just kind of crawls over to a book, opens a page, and then starts pulling out like essentially a ladder. And it starts, out of a book, and it starts placing the ladder to the side, and then it closes the book, reshelves the book, and starts climbing this ladder up to the top of the shelf.
I'm just
With its
imagining
feet.
like a little baby.
It's just really awkward, but it manages to do so quite effectively.
I wanna, since I know that since it sees me, I know that it sees me. I wanna ask if there's any books with my name on it. 'Cause
I thought you were trying to hide.
well, you said that it could see me anyways, and that I knew that it could see me.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, why
Well, he's
hide?
climbing up, and you kind of talk to it, and it kind of like petulantly goes back down the ladder, which is climbing with its 2 feet, by the way, which is probably a feat of magic. And it just kind of gets itself back down to the ground, and kind of looks at you, and it's just kind of like, it says that Naki would realize it would say like, "What did you want from me?" Or "What did you request?"
He said, "What'd you request?"
I was wondering if there are any books with my name on it. With like a big cheesy grin.
It doesn't know your name.
Oh, it's Lorella Next Way Walketh if not in Rowan or Ladergol. Or Ku, for sure.
It kind of scratches its head with what, and kind of like goes back to the main one, kind of taps it a bit, and the other one, kind of the large, humongous 30-foot one, just like points down another aisle, and then it goes like back over to you, and it's like, have book. Says, "We have a book with that name on it, but maybe just the name." Maybe?
He said that.
Not on it. It's kind of like, we got like a book, and then it kind of just waddles that way.
Totally follow away.
But it's also kind of like every now and then it like just trips a bit because its feet aren't really that good at this, and then it just like crawls like with the feet and just pulls itself by it, and then it gets back up again.
There's a book with your name in it, but not necessarily your name.
This it goes down another aisle, and like there's this like little like kind of mess of books. These are smaller ones, and it kind of like they're very thin, and there's tons of them. And this aisle is even more thinner and smaller, so packed together. It's almost like a wall of book. And then, so it's almost like the books are shelved so thickly that it's almost impossible to bring them out. And it's like, it pulls out one, and the book is not super small, but it is a book, and it's decent. It might have like 30, 40 pages in it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a book, and he's like, it flips open the pages, which it, sits down to do. And, it's flipping these pages with its feet. Gotta respect it. It manages to, flip open page 13, and that does have your name in that page.
I'm reading that page.
Do you read Elvish?
No.
I can read it for you.
You'd be like, read it! Yeah, it's gonna be that.
Okay, I'm gonna read it.
No, you read
Wow.
it!
Alright. This is part of
I like how I can't read, but then once I cast the spell, I can now read.
Yeah. It's less like you can read, the more you can, like, steal the info. It's like, you just get it from it. You don't actually work for it, it's lazy. And, you manage to understand that, this is a sort of a fairy tale. it's just a really old story that, some elf at some point wrote down while they were doing all their elf things. And it talks about the, kind of it's almost like a folktale of like, you have this person and they meet the devil and they like make a deal. Or they like, so it's like that, but it's kind of just really short. And it doesn't say how anything ends. It's just like they meet, they make a deal, and nobody's satisfied in the end. It's like a punchline.
She's gonna be sitting there, like, and she's like, my name was in that,
Yeah.
but this is my story.
Well, I just read it aloud to you.
It just shrugs at you.
Yeah.
I think his friend Bear's guy.
She now has a very interesting conundrum. She's like, what was the deal?
I wonder if it has nothing to do
You
with
don't
your
actually know the
situation.
name for, like, it doesn't say Brando Boris in this at all. So you wouldn't know exactly. But it's got your name in it.
But it's
so.
got my name, which she's gonna interpret
It is
in
a translation
ties.
of your name.
I love this thing.
Oh, what is it? I need to see.
I just was drawing a little
Leg bear, leg boy.
Oh man, you draw it way too humidity.
The little one is mine.
not bad. It's speaking celestial, which I don't know how to write, so I just drew little thoughts and
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He looks like an Easter Island man,
Oh,
right,
but with
that's-
feet.
I love this. I love
That's
this.
beautiful.
I found out I'm part of a fairy tale. I'm famous. His fairy tales are
I don't
famous.
know if this is the famous fairy tale section, but hey, you believe what you want.
I believe what I want.
Hey, what?
Hey friend, do you know how to get out of here?
Shkaya.
And everybody turns.
Oh, that means study. And then it kind of like does this little like walk, and it kind of like beckons you.
I follow.
He told us to study.
You will follow.
Libraries are my jam, man.
And it walks, and as it's walking, you do notice many of these other giants. They're all weird. They're all
Today is
weird.
becoming more disappointing.
Yeah.
We have to study to believe.
Like, this world's becoming so much better.
I don't know.
We
This
get
is
a
like this
library.
main circle thing that's, just this large sort of middle desk area, in which there's this like thing at, and it's just sort of this giant like giraffe neck thing, but they have a person's face at the top, just one, just one. It's just really creepy. And this thing, you can tell it's not really biological, it's not like really flesh, but it's really well crafted. Because it's probably made out of marble, and that thing kind of clacks around and its just head just turns. And it's made of all those like reticulating parts, it's gross. But it manages to kind of like, it can't move its neck down at all for it to, but the thing in it are talking a bit. There's a little bit of it, and it's just like, and then it's like, which exit? Where to? Where do you want to go?
We need to help Lay Princess Fairy thing.
The one
So
who
the
was
way
stabbed?
the exit that helps with that.
Is it the one who was stabbed?
Yes.
The
That's
twin?
the mission that's the whole reason why we came in here, right?
I
To
guess
help
so.
break the
I can't
curse
remember.
and the curses
Yeah, we're like
around with the fairy. We're trying to help a town that's been cursed. And they're twins.
You get that awe sound, and the drone thing doesn't wait for anything else. It kind of like has this other arm that like appears from under the desk, and it kind of like just grabs into the floor and like pulls up this trap door, and just like, and it's gross, and like the carpet rips, and there's like it's just this dusty like kind of ladder into the abyss, and it's like.
Guys, I'm thinking we might not be in a dream.
Do you have a light?
I have a light.
He has a light. He has a mag light.
Don't trust you.
It brings out like a really old, kind of worn like lantern, and it puts it on the table.
I
And,
cast light on it.
Yeah, it does light up. It's
So I'm gonna pick up the lantern and I'm gonna say,
and yeah, there's a candle in it. It's not like lit or anything, but it assumes you can do that.
I lit up the whole. I lit up the thing. The
Yeah,
metal.
there's no point.
box
But the
around
point is,
it.
it wasn't gonna work before he cast light anyway. If you wanted to use it,
we're good.
Fran just like to everybody.
We're good. We're good. I got the lantern now.
Okay. I guess we descend into the abyss.
Yeah.
Brand gets to go first because he has the lantern.
You got the lantern.
Yeah?
Unless you want me to hold the lantern.
No.
Then go down.
It's either you or Nakia.
Fine.
I mean, none of us have
I
night.
play the middle.
I give him the lantern.
Okay.
well, that's been exciting. All right, so you guys heading down this hole?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are fine.
Let's go.
And you guys keep going down, and we'll get back to you in a bit.
Cool.
All right, Ward, back to you and your exciting canopy adventure.
Okay.
You're there. It's a thing. Stuff's going on.
It's true. So I'm in an attic with many ladders that lead
Yep.
up to windows.
You got one in each direction.
Okay. I guess I'll go into the one that's opposite the ladder that led up from the trapdoor. It seems the natural direction.
Yeah, okay.
We'll pretend it's south or something.
Sure.
Say that's south.
Yeah, I guess you could call it south because it's like maybe it's back the way you came, so it's like, you know, so it's kind of like down, in the only down you might know.
Right. Okay, so we climb up the ladder, and we gaze out any window.
Yeah.
Is the window open?
This sort of this window is open. Yeah, and there's a balcony that you're on, and there is a bridge, and it leads a long way. It's about 300, 400 feet to another tower, above all the buildings below, but then also you do see above you the buildings do converge in eventually and have a little ring around the tower. They just don't really touch it because it's so close. But there's a lot more open air in this region than normal, and you are able to see, you know, below things if anything's doing anything. Which, I mean, there's a couple of the kind of strange things around, but they're not too many. And I mean, the bridge is creaky, but it's a giant wood bridge. What do you expect?
So basically, this tower is the only landmark in the area that really stands
There
out.
are these two towers that are connected. The one you're on and the one it leads to. Those are really notable. Everything else is sort of a hodgepodge of buildings, and it's hard to identify.
All right. Warren is going to go ahead and climb out and start across the bridge. As much as he wants to get back to the ground, and
Alright.
he's pretty sure that's not going to work as far as trying to get out, so he'll at least investigate whatever this is.
Cool. You do. And
Bridge crossing later.
yay. So you're bridge crossing
Yes.
right now.
Okay, I guess we'll start out on the balcony.
Okay. Well, you're just on the balcony. You're doing your thing. Right. Looking around. There's nothing too crazy to see. There's no traps. There's no treasure chests. It's a balcony. It looks pretty regular. There's even sort of a little, like, you know, the natural kind of, I know the words, I just keep forgetting, little balustrades and things on the edges to kind of keep it nice and also keep you from falling off the edge. And yeah, it kind of attaches to the bridge a bit too much like it was intended to be there, which is really weird. You know, it's, who builds like this? I don't even know, man. And yeah, this is creaky wooden bridge. You gonna cross the bridge?
Are there handrails on this bridge?
It's got a wooden rope, and the wooden rope occasionally goes down and up to connect it to the lower wooden planks. And that's the railing. You can hold on to the rope.
Okay. I guess
Imagine the one from Shrek.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what you got, but just not lava.
Rick and Bridge.
Or there's just a potentially fatal fall. Okay. We start across. The cat is safely in the bag, even if he's growling. We should be set to go.
The cat does what the cat wants. The cat does not want this. The cat is like, why are you shaking? You know, what's going on? But you know, so you feel a little in the bag, but nothing else. And you manage to go across a lot of the ways, step by step. The wood does creak a lot. This one's older and a bit more worn, and you know, yeah. So as you're crossing, you know, just taking in the vision, there's a lot of stuff to look at. You do see some really kind of worn planks ahead. They look kind of like they may not hold so well, but you can just step over them. But it would be, you'd probably have to like sort of jump to do it. And, you know, that would be interesting.
I imagine lesser restoration would only heal the one board that I poke.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so we're gonna have to try to hop, skip, and jump. So I'm gonna use an acrobatics check for that one.
Okay.
You're gonna try it while never letting go. That was a
You make a decent jump, surprisingly. You jump really well. Unfortunately, you sort of jump off, and you basically, you trip, and you slam against the boards, and it hurts like heck. And you actually do smash through one of the nice boards, and your arm's just like hanging down, but the rest of you's fine, but you know, you've taken a point of damage of just bludgeoning damage.
Oh, nice!
And you broke a board, and this whole bridge is like shaky, and you hear down below, you hear the boards hit the ground and just shatter into a million pieces, and there's a lot of silence. And you're just hanging there, you know, in the middle of this huge open, like, space on this bridge, just being like, this is the worst.
And now we pick ourselves up and continue.
Yeah. And as you do, yeah, what's your perception? What's your passive perception?
Passive is 12.
Interesting. Alright, so you keep going, and you go across the bridge. It seems pretty uneventful. You know, you find one more plank that was almost broken. So you step on it, it creaks creepily, but you're fine. You know, you couldn't have seen it, but you did manage to just like, it was fine. It just felt like it wasn't. And
as I am crossing, do I see that one fellow that was just kind of hanging out on a railing?
You do. There to kind of the far, kind of right, you see that individual hanging. Their arm is hanging a bit too far down. It looks like it's been hanging for so long, the arm has not entirely held on.
Oh, God.
And they're just hanging there, like, just over this edge, and they just look super, ugh.
Okay. Well, that's a thing. Alright, so, I hope that, aside from some creakety creaks, we make it to the other side?
You managed to, surprisingly.
Okay.
And you get into this building, and you find a large, sort of, this other tower has this spiral staircase that goes up, and that goes down. And then there are windows kind of along each of the walls that are almost large enough to be doors. And there's little balconies as you see them, and it goes up or down. And where do you want to go?
How far up does this thing go?
It seems to go up a long ways. There are occasionally circular kind of wooden discs, you know, to create new floors artificially, but the stairs have no natural break. The wood is just, the floor is built into each area. And each of those floors are usually empty, but every now and then you'll find some stuff, and it's usually kind of hard to explain why that stuff would be there.
Okay.
You know, why is there a collection of lanterns there? It's a full stack of them. There's just 300 lanterns in this pile in the middle of the floor. Like, there's a reason for it, but nobody knows.
You hear Brand's voice, pick up a lantern.
Okay, well, from the safety of the doorway, I'm gonna shoot that figure that was on the edge of the
Oh my
building.
god!
Alright, roll the hit.
He hates monstrosities a lot.
I know, it's just really funny.
Oh.
And you also chose to hate undead now, or at least be good against them, so...
Yeah, favorite enemy. Well,
they
that.
do look like they're probably dead.
Alright,
hope
well, that was only a 6 as far as the roll.
Oh, you miss.
I get to attack twice though. For attack, that was a nat 20.
Oh, jeez. The first one's a warning shot. And, you miss, it's terrible. It goes through a window and you hear this shriek. And you just hear all sorts of loud thumps. And this thing, like, just bursts out of one of the windows. And it's one of those, like, kind of people you saw below. They just, like, fall out of the window and they just fall and you go boom, 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 boom. And there's like a splat.
I indirectly got another one.
And, but then you did hit the figure that's on the balcony and roll for damage.
Alright, so that would be.
What an exciting adventure.
Some death along the way.
Yeah.
So that's 13 damage for that one.
Cool. You hear this incredibly, well, let me make sure my numbers are right. Yeah, okay. You hear this kind of loud, stop moving my stuff. And this loud, like, agonized, like, just sort of like sob. You know, you just the sound of someone who's just like been hit again when they were already crying.
He's going to keep shooting. Oh, but that one was only a 10.
It's disgusting look coming from Bran.
What?
What'd you roll?
Might as well end
This is
it.
me.
You rolled a what?
This is my
That was a 10.
non-character.
Okay. You roll a 10 and that won't.
It's like, just get this.
The arrow hits but glances off it, and then the person pulls themselves back onto the balcony into a more standing position, and they slither their arm up to them, and they just sort of turn slowly in your direction.
Well, that's great. I got 2 attacks though.
Yeah, roll again.
So I'm gonna hopefully hit it before it looks at me. Oh, that's an 11.
That's 11. This arrow, like, just basically just
Does not hit.
it just bounces right off.
We're gonna keep on shooting
And then
until this thing.
it makes a
Oh
move.
no.
It raises its arm, and then it just launches its arm. And this harpoon-like thing just slams into the wall next to you as it misses, and it just, the flesh goes, that's connecting it, and all of a sudden it starts getting tight, and then it rips it out of the wall and tears part of the bridge with it. And the bridge you're on is getting mighty, that you were crossing is mighty unstable and looks like it might fall on the side if someone crossed it. And this thing's just like reeling in its arm.
Oh god.
Alright, the attacks continue then.
Alright,
15 this time.
Warren died.
excited. That won't hit.
Monster Warren decided
Okay.
to go up against by himself.
Actually, this is Chandra 9. And, yeah, so you, that one hits, but it doesn't seem to have done anything. It's finally pulled its arm back to itself, and you hear unleash this hideous, like, it's like, it's not really horrible, but it isn't really like a shriek. It's somewhere between the two, and it just,
Great.
I don't know, man. I want you to make wisdom saving throws, but I don't think it's fair. Yeah, it makes that, and you hear a lot of them just start echoing back. And yeah. What do you gonna do?
Oh no.
I would hope that Warren's better senses would kick in about his berserk rage.
I don't know.
Only Anna knows what Warren would do. None of us know, and we can't tell.
Yeah, it just depends on how powerful
Warren
this thing
does
is.
what Warren wants.
Mad,
Whether or not this thing can
mad respect so far for Warren, for you playing Warren
Yeah.
accurately,
No, for
but
sure.
Alright,
I'm
next continue
terrified.
then. Ah, dang it, that was only 5. Second
I'm
check.
terrified of what's happening
Right.
to Warren.
And that
we were
was a
just
13
getting
again.
to be friends.
That one doesn't hit. And then it makes an attack. Does a 14 hit?
No.
That's what I thought. And so this one just goes off into the air next to you, just like its arm just gets launched again. And you get a better glimpse at it. This thing's arm is basically like a spring-like kind of chain of just muscle and bone. And it just reels in, and it just kind of does this weird reeling motion to do it. But the arm just kind of like droops and like falls flat down, and then it just kind of pulls it up.
Okay.
And then another one takes aim and fires from another building.
Great.
And this one is 2 floors above and from the west. And just a 17 hit.
Yeah, it does.
Nails you right in the kisser. I'm just kidding.
My face comes flying off.
What is it?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, that's exciting. I'm gonna have to do a lot of D8s.
Oh no.
Good boy, Warren.
Hopefully, if you die in the dream, you don't.
Oh, you take 20 points of damage. And you are considered grappled as this harpoon just slips into you and just like grips you, and you feel these hideous hand-like claws inside this harpoon and in you, just grasping on your insides and just like gripping you there.
Oh
boy.
man.
Golly.
And it's just the worst.
Oh no.
And you hear it let out what might be described as happy from someone who's extremely sad.
Really screwed up happiness.
Like, it's definitely schadenfreude at best. Joining others' pain. And it starts trying to reel. And so it's trying to pull you towards it into the, open air or and across the balconies and just out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trying to pull you, and
Let's see.
yeah. So it's your turn. You can you're considered grappled, so making an arrow shot would be very difficult, but I'd let you do it with disadvantage.
I don't think that's gonna help right now.
But you can try to escape the grappling.
Yeah, what would I roll to try that?
Give me a d20 strength check, like strength saving throw.
So that's 17.
Okay, that'll do it.
That'll do, Pete. That'll do.
That will do it. And you pull this out, and there's kind of like, no. The hand is just like, I want this, and you're just like, no, out. And you rip it out, and you've got this harpoon arm in your hands, and it's trying to pull it back. What do you do?
I definitely let go. I'm gonna run.
All right, you just, how do you let go? Just throw it? You just,
Yeah,
what
we're
do you do?
throwing.
You just throw it
Over
into
the
the
edge.
abyss, and you're just like, I'm out.
Reel it. I'm out!
All right.
And we are running and we are up the stairs. Well, we're hobbling up the stairs while holding our guts in, presumably.
Despite the fact that it did go through you, it is thinner than it looks. The hand was much more like, it's not gonna just like blow a giant hole in you. It's more of like an arrow or something. You remove it, it hurts. You might die if you get infected, but you can probably still run. It's just super painful.
Gross. Well, we're
All right, go
up
up
the
or
stairs
down?
we go. Up. Definitely up.
Okay. Interesting. Now we go to Kylie. And Kylie, you hear from all sorts of around you. You start to hear all these loud warbles, and you hear this sort of hideous and just things getting hit and the sound of like wood being hit by like a spear or a sword, just thunk, thunk, and stuff like that.
What? So there was something about a door before we stopped and she was crying and you're like, would you like a door? I'm like, yes, please.
You have a door to a balcony.
Yes.
There's a wooden sort of cover over top and the bottom, and there's a railing to kind of protect it. It seems like sort of protected from the outside, but still it's a door.
Okay.
And you could go into the door if you want.
Yes, she's gonna go into
You do. This balcony has a small chair, a small chest. The balcony is actually really nice. The wood, the metal, everything's just pretty well maintained. It's a little out of place on this building. And it is sort of almost a cage style thing. The kind of railing seems to go higher than it needs to, all the way up top, and you get why that is because you see just a glimpse of those red eyes and the black feathers and that kind of beak just sort of like from below, just kind of giving you this look like, and it just kind of like, and it doesn't make any noise, but its mouth just goes like,
Yeah.
as it just kind of watches for a bit and then just kind of like,
Sits down.
you know, but you're not sure where it is now, and you didn't guess the rest of it.
Girl's still kind of crying to herself, and she's gonna sit in the chair.
But it looks like this might be a form of a safe place
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, she's gonna try to just stay here for a bit.
Yeah, you do hear a lot of noise going on, but this is pretty safe, and your compatriot is fine hanging out here. And but you do start to hear noise from below. Footsteps, a whole bunch of footsteps, probably very excitable footsteps, and well, Warren, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, great.
As Warren bundles up the steps as fast as he can.
So that's 15.
Alright.
Blunder.
Well, you make it. And this one's actually closer than it needed to be. Then you pass this broken window, and as you pass it, this thing's head goes right back into it and just snaps and manages to essentially, like, get a firm, just like that feeling of like, oh yeah, I almost died. And, you know, 'cause it just goes, it claps right there, and it just kind of like gives you that look, and then it just kind of like slithers back out, and then just kind of like, you didn't see anything. And then just kind of like slithers down again, and then gives you the look, and then like descends. You know, and then it like ascends just a little bit to give you the eye, and then descends again. And that's what you encounter. Yeah. My monsters have personality. They are things.
You didn't see anything.
Oh goodness. Okay.
You know, nobody can know it's missed twice.
There's pride in this.
It's a matter of personal pride.
Gazing at one of them that he can't get at.
Okay, well, I will do
It's a severely taunted animal right now.
perception check to see if I recognize the footsteps that are coming up the stairs. Lucky that one. Because Halfling Lucky has no limits. That makes a 9.
Pretty sure you have at least a few limits.
Oh, I looked it up.
It's like 2 every long rest or short rest.
Yeah, I looked it up. There's 2 different Luckies. There's the feet one that you have 3, but
But
a
you can
Halfling
roll the Halfling Lucky once per roll.
once per roll.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. There is a limit though, haha. And yeah, you would recognize, what did you get?
A 9.
9. You would know that those are not monstrous barefoot. They are boots. They are shoes. They are in fact civilized feet.
Oh,
Civilized feet.
Burl is in such desperation to try and find somebody to help her out. She'd quickly go back to that door and throw it open.
Desperation, you see. You say actions of pure emotion. You see, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no. Well, she's just kind of upset right now. It's an 8.
Oof, you fail.
No!
Let's see what happens.
No.
Interesting.
Like crazy.
She was keeping a level head until that big monster thing came through the window, and she's like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, you are frightened.
Yeah. So I get up to the door, and I'm just like, no,
You just can't grab
I
it.
can't do it.
And as this is unintentional,
And
you take 5 points of psychic damage.
this just turned into Betrayal House on the demo.
And you can feel the
I
sheer
love that
weight
game.
of the thing holding on to you just pours into you and just like sort of fills every nook and cranny of your
Okay.
emotions, and all you can feel is just don't go through the door, don't go through the door, don't go through the door. And it just keeps going so often that you reach out and you switch, and then your hand you literally like fight yourself back onto the chair
Okay.
for a moment to just even get any kind of peace at all.
Okay.
And that's kind of where you are. Let's get this resolved then. Warren, you've just dodged this giant murder monster bird thing.
And been given the eye.
It's a bit less of a. I mean, it's got a lot of eyes, so it's like, hey, which one do you do it to? Yeah, you did your best.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep going up. You're going back down. Where are you headed?
Well, are there footsteps coming up? Loud ones? Many?
From beneath you?
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening.
There's a few.
You're gonna make a perception check then. He's going to listen. Now that's a 21.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what's going on and the consequence of the roaring and the
You
fact
hear
that
a
two of them know where he
couple
is.
small footsteps, just a little kind of. They're just like every now and then, and it's like, and there's a little thump after each one that's a little like, whoop. And it is your friend, and it just kind of appears from the stairs beneath, and just kind of like has you in the eye, and it's just sort of facing the wall, and just kind of like, okay, we're good.
Can you really call it a friend when you try to kill it so many times?
Josh, this friendo forgives.
There was exactly one time. Then it turned its blue, adorable
it
gaze
received
upon
the
me.
arrow with thanks and gratitude, and ate the arrow.
And then there has been no more attempts because it looked at me, man. It looked at me with big soulful eyes and was adorable about it, and I can't do it. It was a mercy kill, I specified.
Nice. So you notice that's what's coming from below, but I mean way deeper. You do hear a lot of noise down there, but it's just the soft like echoes and stomps and things. It might be coming up, but it's hard to tell. But from the way you came in, another harpoon does come through the window that you, like the door kind of that you came in from. Just goes and hits one of the walls, and then the reeling begins, and now that you have time to listen to it, you hear this little like this little. Every time it like reels, so just like it's like gross. Because apparently, on inspection, now that you have time, the kind of the chain is just bones and flesh, and they're sort of woven into this fake chain that can extend and extract itself. It's gross. And it shouldn't be a thing, but it is, and it do.
And it did.
Okay. Well, in that case, he's going to look around for something to barricade the stairs.
There's nothing to barricade the stairs with, but there might be something further up. You do see there's sort of a landing, and there's sort of a door.
Up there.
And there's sort of a door.
Okay, you go up. The door is just a regular wooden door. And you also have these sort of regular wooden zone. There's maybe a chair there. And there's one old, worn out chair.
That's not
It's not like a heavy sofa. It's like just a wooden one you find in the kitchen, but it's like the only one you have, so you can't really get rid of it. And it's got like 3 broken legs, but you like fix 2. Yeah, it's seen things. It's the chair from before that ran. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a chair.
Oh, so no. Well,
As far as you know.
I mean, it might be the same one. I don't know. At this point, I can't even remember what that one looked like. I've had to forget. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff.
It was a high quality
Makes
chair,
sense.
that's all.
I did not describe that chair in my notes, and I regret it.
So in that case, he would crack open that door and look in to see what's in there.
You look outside the building. There's a balcony. There are metal grates. There's a wooden cover. And there's sort of a chair with a burl on it, being hung by a strange monstrosity that is incredibly like twitchy and just kind of like, and it doesn't know where you, like, it heard the door open and it seemed to react, but it's looking in all the wrong directions. Like it's looking at the ground, like, oh no, the ground.
How panicked does Burl still look?
Burl looks like she's breathed hard, but she's like more like grumpy now than she is necessarily scared.
Okay. Well, there's still going to be an arrow pointed at that thing immediately.
Okay.
Because it's just this thing latched onto her like a reed, and in my first instinct is, oh gosh, it's trying to kill her.
It's a abomination giving one of your close friends an incredibly tight hug.
And being really weird while he's at it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like she's bleeding or dying or screaming or anything. She does look more petulant than anything.
Which is why the arrows aren't flying yet.
Fair enough.
Feel free to react now.
Alright, well, when I hear her creaking open,
Oh, the door creaks open, you hear it. There's
Okay.
nothing else to hear, and you were focused on that door.
okay.
So you're aware.
How much did you creak it open, and how much of you is poking in, and how much of it is arrow?
I just straight up like leaned in, and so
So
in
you
order to knock an arrow, I would
with
have
the
to
door?
kind of half stand into the doorway.
She kind of like, she basically like creaked the door open and then came in with an arrow. And she's like, aha!
I'd be like, please don't kill me.
Warren is not she. He. I speak to the player, not the opponent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alright, let's start. Please don't kill me. I've been through enough already. I'm not ready to be put out in my misery just yet.
What is that on your back?
He's my friend.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is. He's lost just like me, and so we're gonna find our way out here together. And we almost got eaten a couple of times, and so well, this place is safe, so we're just chilling here for now.
Roll a persuasion check.
Do a contest.
I didn't even have to say that. I feel so good. It's like you guys What'd you roll?
8.
Yeah, just. Yeah.
It was almost a nat fail.
That's not really high. I'm there 15.
You're not persuaded, but you're not necessarily like, I don't believe anything you say. You're just, you're not like moved. You're just like, okay. You said that there's no like reason that you feel like, oh, I'm emotionally. No, you still hate monsters very much.
Like I think this thing has tricked her, but I'm not gonna shoot it right now.
No, because that'd be in front of somebody, and that would just kill for us.
Child.
He's got an attachment to
In front
it.
of a child.
Warren knows enough about people to not do that.
With stock
But it's close. It's a close call.
Like the whole bow is like lowered and loosened, but you notice like the arrow is still technically
still
there,
locked.
ready to be notched.
Right.
The arrow's even still knocked. It's just ready to be redone at moment's notice.
Where? What? How did you start levitating and end up here? I was following your tracks, and then they weren't there anymore. Also, I hurt. Is there another chair in here?
There's only just this chair, but there's a chest over there. I haven't opened it yet. There might be something in there.
I'm gonna sit on that. He sits on the chest.
There might be something good in there. This room seems like a safe place, so maybe there's potions and things.
There must still be potions in there.
On inspection, you do notice that there is a chair. It's not a chair. There is a cot that's kind of folded up, wooden boards and like the kind of like tarp and things that you could rest on as well. There's enough room here for it. It's quite a spacious balcony, really. It's just, the chair it burrows on is a little bit closer to the door because, why not have the chair in the middle? But you think you could kind of have this as you could probably fit your whole party here if everyone made it.
If everyone was here.
If everyone survives, maybe they will. Who knows?
It's just they would go through the trapdoor and then pop through the roof, and we're all in the balcony.
That would be funny.
Interesting.
Well, hey! Wisdom.
Unfortunately, it can't happen now.
No.
So you gotta stop saying it aloud
Alright,
if you want it to happen.
alright.
But
Cool.
would you have thought
So you
of it
guys have
if you
met,
didn't?
and you guys are doing okay. You three.
There's a distinct
We went into
My
the.
water temple explorers, you went to the library,
And I'm going down the hole.
went down the hole.
You go down the football first.
Alright, you went down the hole first. As you go down, you feel for a moment that you are climbing sideways.
That's
and then,
cool.
Yeah, so
Weird.
you're climbing sideways, and then you feel like gravity's a bit opposite, so you're pulled towards the ladder instead of way down. But then it goes back to normal.
This is fun.
That's it's a thing, and you begin to see a sort of stone beneath you.
Stone beneath us.
It's the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Library is above you, stone beneath you, stuck in the middle of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep going, right?
Yeah, you guys go. You hit the stone.
Yep. I
You
hit
guys
the
get off the
floor.
ladder. There's light. You're in sort of a dark kind of weird room, and there's this sort of water gate.
Weird.
It's sort of like a doorway of water,
Okay.
and I don't know how to describe this really. Frankly, I can't do it.
Like a
justice.
sweater made out of tears, except instead a door.
No, you weirdo.
Did we finally find the door in the water temple that we can never get the key to?
Well, if you don't get the
That's
key, the key
thing
to this
that always
door
happens.
is that key's always in the basement of the clams, and it's hidden beneath the platform that moves, so it always tricks you into doing it wrong. I learned that, and I've never forgotten, and it's always been easy. It's just because Nintendo is a sneaky group of people.
Okay. Okay, so water door.
So it's a doorway. It is water covering it, and it's just that sheer end that only my doors can do. Because that's how I do things.
Okay.
And you can see into it, the light you've got cast into it, and then you see this kind of, the tunnel you're in looks like a normal hallway of just full of water that keeps going. Sideways though, so it's like
Right.
Onward.
back to the water zone, you know what I'm saying?
Onward into the water.
I wonder how these connect. Anyway, so you guys go into this water, and it's wet now. Did you take proper precautions with your books?
Definitely.
Okay, good.
It's an imaginary book, so waterproof.
Book is sad at this. If
I
the
don't
book
know.
had a spirit, it'd slap you
No,
one.
I'm sure I would have put it in my backpack before this.
Cool. I'll treat that as safe. And you guys go in, and there's this huge, long hallway. There's sort of a tile, and there's kind of a red stone path in the middle of it. And you guys keep going. It's really long, and as you go, you start to feel like maybe things are weird.
Because they haven't been yet?
No, it's
starting
sort
to
of
feel
like gravity's the same,
weird.
but the hall is slightly slanted. And you keep going, and it's slightly more slanted.
Okay.
And you keep going, and eventually you kind of are stuck on the corner between the wall and the floor.
Okay.
And the path you were on originally is on your left. You guys keep going, then you're on the wall itself as if it were normal.
Before we need to straighten it out.
Maybe you do. And you keep going, and it does that, a full corkscrew all the way down this hallway, and you reach the end.
Creative architecture.
And
No kidding.
So we're now on the ceiling.
Or
We're
did
back
we
on
do
the
it
floor.
you're back on the floor again. You've done the full revolution.
Ooh.
And
That's a long hallway.
then you come into a room, and it's a giant, messy room. There are essentially two sets of kind of like platforms, and then there's this grand pit in the middle that you guys could fall down. And this is all well underwater, by the way.
Okay.
And there's stairs going up, there's stairs going down. And
Should have asked directions before we left.
We asked if we
Wow.
want to get out of here, and this is where they pointed us.
It's true, but now there's 2 paths.
Most unhelpful.
I usually give 2 paths.
Right.
And because I don't like railroading, so I'm like, well, 2 paths. Things could happen.
There's upward stairs, there's downward stairs.
There's also like a small alcove to the side, but it doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's just sort of there for the nooks.
I want to look.
Okay, you go around it. There's a little balcony that looks into the rest of this room to give you a different vantage point. And maybe that would be more useful if the room wasn't... Because as you look from this, you realize, wait a minute. This room is literally sideways. And these stairs should be sideways. Because they're not, right? And there's an entirely different set of doors. And everything's arranged to go to different ways. And this room has just got 2 sets of doors as if it's meant to be used from 2 different gravitational sources.
So there's stairs that go up and stairs that go down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a big hole in the middle.
Yeah.
We're underwater.
Yeah.
Well,
Down the hole!
we tried going up, and it didn't work.
No, you fell down because you guys were silly.
Let's be silly again!
Yes, I concur.
I'm
You
gonna.
guys can't swim up, but you could climb the stairs.
Brand's gonna start moving towards the
Brown can't
stairs.
swim, and 2 of you got rocks, so...
Brand's gonna start moving towards the stairs.
I like to imagine Brand's like...
And shuffling towards the stairs.
Or maybe he's like... You know, that's how he swims. I don't know.
So he just flails in the water.
He flails his way to the stairs. Maybe he's like this.
Yeah.
By the end of this, you'll have learned how to swim.
You're going
Maybe a
towards the
little bit.
stairs. Going towards the stairs up or stairs down?
Stairs up.
I mean, I'll follow. I don't want to
Yep.
split anybody.
Alright. You guys go to the
At this
upwards
point,
going stairs.
Let's do a
And,
six-way split.
they do lead up. And these kind of stairs do eventually lead to a point where they hit surface. There's no more water, and you can just walk into the air. The stairs are just, on that path. And it's a giant kind of corkscrew up.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds like a plan. Just keep
Onward.
Up.
Alright,
Yeah.
as you do, there's a lot of interesting kind of large stained glass murals along kind of windows, that are huge and tall, and then there's other windows that are, pretty decent as
Do they
well.
tell a story?
They really don't, and that's a shame.
That is a shame.
But some of them are kind of pretty, so it's like they at least tried. And, as you do, you manage to start seeing all these sort of houses and buildings outside, and you begin to see all these balconies, and occasionally you see these ladders, like these wooden bridges stringing from building to building. And you also...
How about we go back down?
You also, see figures in the distance, sometimes on balconies, sometimes just lying against walls, just people-ish figures. It's hard to tell from here.
Why do you want to go back down?
You also see something huge and dark, kind of like floofing by in the distance for a bit.
Maybe that's why.
There's a little bit of a flappity-flappy motion, and it's hard to describe. But you get the sense that something massive was half like doing some flight over in the distance a bit.
Onward and upward, right?
Sure.
Onward.
I only say that because I know Ku has the passive perception to pass it, which the other 2 checks nobody did. Hey.
I have the passive perception.
What do you have?
15.
Oh, you're equal.
No, I'm 17.
She's 17.
Oh shoot, then no, you're not equal. But you would also have seen it. You were correct, Josh.
I have a passive perception of 11.
You unfortunately fall into the other 2's category. And
It's probably what you
So you
don't
keep
see
going up,
doesn't hurt you,
and
probably. It's kind of-
there's a
Yep.
kind
I
of
think
a
Ku's
floor.
getting a little bit more nervous now that she's seeing
These
houses.
grand windows, here are not stained glass, they are just clear. And there's this sort of large circular balcony all the way around this tower, apparently, that you're in. And it's flat, and there's railings, but they're thin and light. And there's somebody who's like totally collapsed against the railing. It's not over it, but they've like fallen against it so that their arm is hanging out of it. And they just kind of like face against the rail itself. So they're just kind of like,
Is he dead?
they make no move.
Hi, friend.
I knew it.
I am
I
hiding.
knew it, Brad's gonna
I am
go up and
hiding.
make friends with it.
Hi, friend.
You hear this soft, like,
Hiding.
kind of desperate, like, sob.
He's not dead.
Can I help you? You seem very, very sad.
I'm very hidden.
There is just only the soft sob every now and then.
Brent's gonna do a little shuffle dance, trying to make you feel better.
He can't see you.
Makes sense.
Roll me a performance check.
Oh, that's not Brent's.
Well, you did a dance, so you're gonna have to do that.
Alright. Oh boy. Okay, +2.
You guys are always a fun
11.
time. Very nice.
That's actually apt for what the kind of shuffle dance I was
It was just boring.
The brand shuffle dance.
It was just good enough not to be bad, so it was boring. Hey, what do you know?
Hey, just
That's about right.
And so Brand does a little shuffle dance that doesn't seem to get a response at all. Yeah, that's just the thing. The stairs do continue upwards if you want to go that way. Or
Yep.
Okay, well,
who's heading
I mean,
up?
Koo kind of wants to go down. She don't like the city,
Yeah.
but she don't want to be.
well, if you just change your mind, you want to come with us, all aboard the party train.
No, she doesn't want to be separated.
When you
from
say
people.
come with us,
No, I was talking to
this thing's head just goes like, and it just looks at you, and it has these like sort of almost like beady, like nervous, like little dark eyes that have no color at all. They are just black eyes, and they might actually be missing. And it just gives you this look, and it's just like, and it just begins to slowly like recoil, and its arm kind of pulls back into its normal socket a bit. It's kind of, and you notice it kind of like picks itself up, and it's got these sort of hideous claw things, and its hands are almost like harpoons and stuff. Yeah, you've seen. You got my description. And its feet, they're not actually really feet, you notice? They're just stumps of bone and flesh that the feet have just broken off, and they're just this, almost like just a little like being. But they've managed to like somehow keep balance. It's not very good balance though, so they kind of like take like piratey pig leg steps. And it kind of wanders over to you a bit, and it's just like,
Seems like you've seen better days, friend.
it's just staring at you like,
This is the same thing that Burl befriended, right?
No, this is the thing that attacks
Warren fought.
Warren.
Whenever I
Ah.
have days like that, it helps if I do a little shuffle dance.
You're like, here, I'll teach you how to do it.
Koo is so hidden. She does not like this picture.
it is there.
Okay. I'm glad we had this talk. I think we should go up still.
Yes, let's go up and away from this
right.
thing.
Warren's gonna have the
Not yet.
worst eye twitch by the time
Wink.
we're all
'Cause
done
you're still
coming back
hiding.
together.
Yeah.
Totally hiding. And as you like, you say wink wink as you do it.
She did. I don't think she gets to say it where we're going because she's stealthing, so we're gonna go up.
She's stealthy.
That's fair. Who is hiding?
I mean, unless you want to break through her stealth.
Koo shook. Koo shook.
Okay, so you go by, there's a lot
I mean,
of
she'll
windows
follow
as
you.
well. Kind of continues
we
the
go.
trend going up. You do see something dark out of the corner of your eye through one of the windows for a moment.
Okay.
And you get you feel unnerved, Bran.
Just me?
Just him?
You feel malicious intent.
My brands are tingly, guys.
It's the bad brands thing.
The bad juju. The brand juju. We're bad intent. Do I sense direction or something?
You don't sense direction, but you do sense a malign force from something nearby, and it doesn't seem to be that kind of gas. But it does seem to be.
I sense a very malign force right now.
But it would be related not to the monster thing that's sort of ambling behind you. It is, and it's trying to, and its arm keeps falling out of its kind of position and clawing against the ground and leaving this like screechy, scratchy trail that kind of like curves back and forth in the corners, and it's just this kind of gross noise, but it's just kind of like it's just so. It's desperate to follow you guys. It's not very fast, so you guys quickly kind of get ahead of it.
That's it. I'm keeping a friends achieved tracker for Bran.
I don't know if this one's friendly yet, though. It could just.
And it's just dragging it, and it's just desperate to keep up. And then it trips and it hits against the floor and kind of like slides down some stairs, and then it just starts crying. In those gross, like hideous noises. And then it just like kind of like takes its other hand and just like and like starts hitting the stone. It's just mad.
Can Bran go back and pick it up and help it up?
Bran can try. You go down there and you try to pick it up.
Just say, hey there, friends. Don't get
Roll
down.
me
Let's do the Bran shuffle.
just roll here a charisma check.
I also don't think that's Brad's strong.
Just persuade her, man. Persuasion? Persuasion.
This is plus.
You're trying to persuade it not to feel so terrible.
Oh, I feel like perception's plus 5.
No. Persuasion, that's 18. 18.
You managed to pick it up without getting hit, which is a feat, because it was throwing a bit of a tantrum. And you pick it up and you kind of. It looks at you again and it gives you that like very serious, like complete business face. It has almost no other expression.
Okay.
And but there are like little tears.
Oh.
They're hideous like black tears of like.
Like snot, but it's black.
It's almost like tar, and it's just gross and nasty. But they are tears.
This is a true challenge in these friendship skills.
It's almost like molasses, really. I mean, really, I'm just thinking about
Are
it.
you gonna taste the molasses?
Ew.
Why would you do that? That's
That's
gross.
disgusting. Why would you
Not
say
yet.
What are you gonna skeet
It looks
over
like
a bar?
molasses. Molasses is pretty good.
Anyway, so you keep going up, and
Gosh.
Brian, you bring it with you. It has no ability with which to grip you without claws of death, but it does appreciate
Yeah,
being
kind of support
pulled.
it the more.
Yeah, you kind of, I guess, shoulder carry it.
Gosh, you guys.
You guys are friendly with
Y'all are too
Say
friendly.
one of you is gonna friend the hungry,
Hey,
and
I'm
the
just
other
saying,
one
guys,
is gonna friend
Good
the
deeds
angry.
often can be useful, and sometimes they can be terrible. It's always fun to see what will happen.
Okay.
So you bring it up with you, and then you guys go up the stairs, but you get the malign tent again, Bran.
Guys,
You feel like people should not be very loud and actually not like stealth. We should be hiding as we go, like super.
Like me?
guys, be quiet.
Okay.
Bran senses are tingling.
Okay. I
I'm
will
talking-
stealth.
I'm specifically talking to Nakia and my little mighty.
I don't think I stealth.
What'd you roll?
Let me check. 9.
Okay.
Bran is at a 13.
Okay.
Do I have to reroll because I rolled a self before?
What was your stealth before?
17.
Okay. And you guys keep going, and for Nakia, you reach a point, and there's a moment where you're just not entirely aware of what's around you, and you see something dark immediately outside the window, and you have a split second to react. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
What is
I
that?
think you just tried to Super Saiyan.
I am not giving you any more.
No!
Oh no, you don't deserve it.
You just lemon grabbed that, man. Just threw it on
That was
the
very
Okay. Dex save. You rolled it.
You bumped
It was a 7.
Okay, and that's plus what?
No, that's with the plus.
Alright, let's get the
I rolled a
business.
4.
Bursting through the window, this massive set of jaws just slams you against the
Can't
wall.
keep the floor rolls.
Because you didn't roll too poorly, you don't get insta-gibbed.
Insecure.
Or, as I like to call, taken alive, swallowed whole, eaten by the great demon of doom.
Oh, dear.
But it does roll to get a massive slam damage on you, that's for sure. Alright, let's roll these.
Oh.
Well, Cavalier.
23!
Damage now.
You take 23 bludgeoning damage of just getting slammed by a giant beaked monstrosity.
I'm gonna use Stone's Endurance on that.
You better.
You're the weakest of the group in HP, right?
I have 40.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a 12.
At 42, I'm not much better.
Plus, where is it? Where'd it go? I lost it. Oh, plus 3. Minus 7.
Okay.
So, what was that? 16?
It was 23 minus 7.
2 minus 7,
16.
16.
No, bang.
Alright, you took 16 damage.
Still like half your HP.
What's his HP at right now?
I'm at 16 damage.
So he's at 24.
Cool. And, so yeah, that happens, and it doesn't get purchased, even though it tried very hard to really just get that knob, but it doesn't really, it's not really able to, like, do much else. It, like, slithers back of it and kind of, like, recoils, like, anyone want to go? Come on. There's little, like, clapping noises, and it kind of, like, its head sticks out from the outside of the building that you're in.
I was like, comes in through the outside.
Through the window. Just breaks through the window and just.
I'm sure. Does it get like a confidence boost because it missed twice and then it got a solid slam on knockout?
This is my knowledge, thank you. But it does look distinctly pleased that there's some blood on it from the probably at least a mild scratch that it gave knocked in.
Hi, friends.
This one is inside of a building, so.
I think I might have like messed that description up. Sorry.
Okay.
They're outside the building and they stick their heads into the building
Gotcha.
with which to try to knock you like a woodpecker.
Yeah, that's the
Only
impression I
of
got
death.
from your guys earlier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't listening to your
You're
guys
not like
earlier, so
that.
this is a first for me.
And it kind of gives you this like snappity snap, and it's kind of blocking the way, and it's just like as much as it can do. But it is kind of like backing off a bit, and just like doing some stuff, and it's kind of just like trying to figure out what to do.
So is everyone else up the stairs?
Yeah, that's a
if
good
you were
question.
last in order.
Yeah, he.
And
I thought he was first in order.
Are you riding on his shoulders again?
No,
technically
No, she's
you're
stealthing.
stealthing.
I was still thinking.
Well, no,
No,
she's
I'm
holding
no,
up a round giant.
I don't know where Ku is, but I know that I'd probably be at the back because I went back.
Could be in front because she went first, so
I went
she's
back to help
past
Buddy.
this experience, and
is the
So I'm
guy
past it.
walking the way up?
And I went back to help the friends.
he's blocking it part way. You could slither by, but it would probably just hit you again. And there's just a moment, and yeah. So you and Nakia are just
how close?
behind.
How close am I to it? Do you think?
5 feet.
Can I bop it on the head with my mace?
Then absolutely roll
And
the
say
hit.
no.
Roll the hit.
That's not how you make friends.
I wish you had shillelagh. I wish you were a druid. Because then you could shillelagh in the head, and that'd be
Plus
because
strength, right?
that's a real way to boss people. Yeah. When you shillelagh something in the head, it feels
That's a
so.
16.
16, huh?
16 hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay.
Shoot.
I forgot how much damage I do.
I haven't hit anything, so
Yeah, well, now you did. Welcome to Violence Town, brother.
There we go.
1d6 plus 3. Where's the d6? I don't even have a d6 over here. D6 me. Alright. That's 5 damage.
Alright. You give it a pretty firm, like, kunk. It doesn't necessarily, like, kill it or anything. It doesn't even draw blood.
No,
But it gives it a solid, like, dent on its beak. And you can tell that, like, its beak's part metal. So you hit this, like, it's almost like you hit armor and you dented the armor. And it's like, it's not necessarily dead, but it's like grumpy that you did it. It's just like,
And I would say, when you're ready to behave, follow us.
No.
it snaps at you.
Me?
Yeah. Make a dexterity saving throw.
I want to throw
You should
a
tell it to
dagger
go
at
to
it.
its room.
You can. Roll the hit.
14 plus.
Oh yeah, you easily dodge. It was a light snap. What'd you roll?
Nat 20.
That's 20. One of its eyes just is impaled with a knife from the other side, and it gives you this look, and it's like that eye like rolls around and like
I
spins.
definitely like not want to be close to it.
And
That's why I threw
it
it
kind of
back.
like just immediately just turns away from the cleric, just looks at you, and you can tell the eye is still moving in the socket with the knife in it because the knife's moving.
It's just
And it's just like
there's the caravan with the.
you don't even need to roll damage
Okay, cool.
because it's decided that it doesn't like this, and it kind of gives you like opens its mouth and gives you this like warbly like
Out!
like it's this gross like angry noise that only birds can do, you know. And then it kind of just goes, and it just like slithers out, and then it just goes.
I like give it a death
It
glare
like
as it goes
spits
out.
this like hideous, like green, like almost acidy stuff that just like fizzles and crackles onto the floor, and it's just like you can tell it's just like disgusted with you. It's just like I'm mad,
She's giving it the death glare.
and then it just like slides out the window and like crawls beneath it, and it's outraged.
Did I lose my dagger?
Yeah.
Yes.
The dagger is still in the eye. And you hear like
If you really wanted to, you
from
can make
outside the building, and you feel it shake a bit, and then the shaking's gone, and there's no sign of the thing.
If you
But
really
you do
wanted
notice
to.
that like it pulled the rest of the window frame with it, so like there's nothing here but like this broken remains of like a little glass and like a little wood, and even that's kind of not a thing. And you
I did a thing.
If
yeah.
you really wanted to, you could have used Mage Hand to yank it out of the eye.
I keep forgetting I have that.
Yeah, well that's your fault, not mine.
Alright.
To be fair, it's a giant death ray. So anyway,
It would have been even
moving
more
on. You
angry.
guys keep going up the stairs, I assume, because where else are you gonna go?
After a stern reprimand from Brand that was uncalled for.
It hurt my friends, so I'm gonna say it was a good thing.
So you guys keep going on.
Yeah.
And you guys eventually come upon a more regular room. There's a kind of the wood, there's a whole bunch of lanterns in a pile, and there's a broken window to your right that's absolutely shattered as well. You get the feeling this has been done before. And then you see up ahead there's a half broken window. That window's not necessarily the same broken. In fact, it looks like it's been slightly repaired and put back together a bit.
Okay.
And then the stairs keep going up, and there seems to be a door and another floor up above.
Did that door be partially open or did you close it?
It is,
Oh.
That is a
I would have
great
closed it behind me just to be safe.
and it's closed.
So that's the only door though, right? Going up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So there's stairs more and there's door.
more stairs. Yeah,
More
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 stairs.
stairs. More stairs.
We're so sick of stairs. I'm like, ugh. I think Brand getting tired of climbing up stairs because it's hard work to do.
Yeah. All right.
Not there yet.
So you guys keep walking. You go by the normal broken window, and nothing really is going on there. You don't want to experiment with the lantern pile, it's fine. And then
Brand's gonna grab a lantern.
you already have a lantern.
You gave it to
I'm
me.
faithful.
I have.
Light is now a very precious commodity. And I gave the
Oh
lantern.
yeah, I probably got attacked by him because I have light.
You have an old lantern, and you have an old lantern. So write that down. You both have 2 candles for those old lanterns.
Except mine's not lit. Mine's lit by using
Yeah,
my
but
magic.
you have 2 candles. Like it really.
Actually, okay, so while I'm grabbing the lantern, I would probably look around to see if there's anything unique about the lantern pile.
There are a lot of lanterns. Nobody stores lanterns like this.
That's very strange.
But
somebody values
their
light.
design is not normal for where you're from. You've never seen lanterns that look exactly like this. These ones are not necessarily ornate or normal in any boring way. They are built efficiently. They're a bit too efficient for anyone's experience that you know. It just doesn't have any of the markings you're used to. They're almost like generic brand lanterns, but they're like good quality generic, and you're just like, what? Because that doesn't exist in this life experience you've had.
Okay.
So they are a bit too uniform.
Sounds good.
As you guys keep going up, then I guess, you know, you guys keep the feeling of like a draft. You feel a little bit blown about for a moment. There's just a little bit of wind, you know, because all these open windows at this point. And yeah, it seems normal enough.
So there was that door. Were there any doors on the floors below?
No, not really. No, it just seems like a pretty straight tower. Honestly, it's a bit too straight, really.
Okay, so
Weird. Do you want to go into that door?
You're going to the door, and then right before it, though, there's that problem. The half-open window shatters in again, and this bird thing is back. Only this time it just spits at all of you.
Spits at us.
Yeah, and more
How
of this green, nasty material,
Oh.
and which immediately begins to crackle and turn red. I need you all to make a dexterity saving throw to avoid getting spat on.
Yes! You can't touch me!
15.
13.
24.
Not bad. Okay, you get hit by it, and
Okay.
okay, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to see how much damage you take.
Constitution, huh?
Yeah. As it crackles and turns red and starts to burn, like literally into fire.
That is a 7.
And you, oof. So you take 12
Fire
damage of fire damage as it just lights you on fire. And then it kind of cackles to itself and just leaves.
I'm going to.
And you notice as it leaves that actually the window leaves with it, and you're a little more aware.
It now
What
has-
you saw
Is
the
there
window
still-
was
is my dagger
actually
still in its
feathers.
What?
Is my dagger still in its eye?
Yes.
I want to cast my hand and grab it.
You can try. Give me a dexterity. Like, give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm also going to do it.
Disadvantage, because you're trying to get an eye that's moving and moving.
That's
And I was moving ahead.
is that
Oh, I thought that was the
16?
You know, I'll let you get it with that. You managed to use your mage hand to grab the eye. Now the question is, can you do enough force to do it? Normally it's only 10 pounds of force, and I think this would be more than that. But I'll let you roll for it. Give me an athletics check.
Yes, 22.
Shoot, you pull it out, and you manage to like have your dagger out of its eye, and it's kind of, you know, gross, bloody.
That's fine.
And I'm going to cast Acid Splash back at it.
Oh,
It has to do a dex saving throw.
don't you know who I am?
DC
shoot.
is 14.
Okay, so hilarious story there. It has advantage on that, and it's still got a nat 1 and a 2. So I'm just gonna let it just get nailed by acid splash because that's more
Yes.
fun. Then what are you gonna do?
It's 2d6.
Roll it.
5, 6.
Nice.
So it's 6 damage.
Splashing all over this face. They're sizzling and gross, and there's this sort of like indignant like scream, just like,
Don't you dare bite it.
and just like, oh, it's mad now. And
Okay, let's go in the door.
Yeah, we out.
It's mad, and you can hear all sorts of like, you hear this like, kush, kush, kush against the building, and it's not actually moving its head or anything, so something's going on.
Probably kicking the tower.
And
You were not a very good friend.
What was that something you said earlier about the window and feathers?
as it pulled out, you did notice that when it left, it didn't actually break any more window, although it should have. The window just folded with it and came along for the ride almost, and was just whipped out of sight. But it was a bit too. It didn't break. It just sort of like was just like slither out of sight, almost like it was, kind of like a magician with a card.
There is no spoons.
The windows could be actually part of the creature.
Or it's a dream and physics are
Wow.
strange.
Anyway, the point is that's it. And so you guys can keep going, and it seems like it's left a bit, but it's just really.
But it's still like.
It's out there and it's very angry, but it's not necessarily able to do anything.
Let's go through
It's
the
blind in one eye, so we
You
have
guys
that
go, you open the
advantage.
door, and you walk in, and you find an interesting assortment of people. And
Because we're not. We're holding a, whatever it's called.
yeah, you're basically firemen carrying. Well, not firemen carrying, but you're basically like doing the army carry.
That's pretty much what I should be doing if I were to be carrying anyone.
Right.
If we were BBDing
Yeah, there's a Burl, there's a Lost, there's a Warren, there's a Wretched, and now there's a Bran, and what was it?
The lonely.
The Lonely.
He's
It's
no
not
longer
so
lonely.
lonely.
No, it's not lonely anymore.
Party time.
Yeah, and you come in, and Warren, what does the eye look like before we leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does your eye look like? How's
First
the twitch going?
first there is an arrow pointed. First of all, the eye is huge.
You're like, oh, these
And
three.
we're like, oh, well, hi!
Well, no, more like the thing behind them.
Oh yeah, you're just like, oh, you.
We've been through this before. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on her arrow and burn it.
Okay, you can do that.
Should we just load another one?
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
going to burn as many as she got.
Well, I mean that'll
It's a
give him
cantrip.
pause and be like, what? Wait. What did you do?
Warren? Remember when you shot the bird and we all felt bad about it?
You mean you felt bad about it?
Remember when we all felt bad about you shooting that bird?
The
We're in a
bird
nice funeral service.
did not do this to my insides. Why are you letting that thing fall?
I mean, the big bird did that to my insides. Actually, to my
you
outsides.
can't see that he has a massive, like, sort of beak-shaped, like, bruise cut in his, like, torso. So yeah, he definitely looks like he's had, like, a cross cut into his chest.
Alright, well,
We're twitters!
it looks like we've seen better days, so I am going to channel my divinity.
Cool. Well, we'll worry more about the channeling divinity and things next session, because frankly, this is a good end point segue.